morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. But more importantly, I say blue morning to you because, in fact, it is the Blue Morning Show. I hope you're all doing well, and I sincerely do mean that. Today, we will preview the game tomorrow that will be between Aston Villa and Chelsea Football Club at a Villa Park. Again, it will be fun. We'll look at the history between the two clubs. We'll look at their recent form, where they're each on the table. And then again, we'll try to predict the lineup. But we will start by looking at some updates out there, again, because it's fun to do so and to help you stay up to date if you've missed anything. And also you helping us stay up to date if you see any update that you think we don't have here. So thank you. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, welcome back to the Blue Morning Show. I hope you're all doing well, and I really do mean that. Thank you so much. And more importantly, as you're arriving, please do take a second to like the stream to help us reach more people. The likes are very important. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm gets triggered, and the more it pushes the stream to more people who would be interested in the topic that we will be debating or discussing today. So thank you so much for finding the time to join. Let's see who what we have already in the chat. Again, as usual, I'm guessing it. I'll be surprised. Oh, today it is again Santiago Munoz. Nice to see you here. Blue morning, Kachila panel and chat. Blue morning to you too, Munoz. I hope you're doing well. Liam Lane, blue morning, Kachila panel and chat. Same to you, brother. Yes, people, again, please, as you're arriving here, keep liking the stream and subscribe if you haven't. Again, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Well put there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Top S, your signature, thumbs up. Again, this time not, fingers crossed. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join. And how you, the Blues? Thank you so much for asking that question. I'm doing well, and I do believe everyone that's in the chat again that they are doing well. Again, big again, it's been a hope you're good. And to my brother, CFC OG, big up. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I appreciate that. That makes me very happy. I think we will start today by looking at some updates. Looks like I have multiple windows mistakenly. I'm going to try to sort that out quickly before anything else. Okay, that's where the issue lies. I think I've seen it. Okay, let's look at some updates here. It's fun. It's all fun. Again, here we have again saying from Chelsea HQ. It says that Chelsea are one of the biggest clubs in Europe. They won the Champions League not too long ago. They have a world-class squad, world-class facilities, and have big ambitions under the new owners. It's a project that would be attractive to Kylian Mbappe. That's just a sports Pete O, and also Give Me Sports speculated. Give Me Sports, I have to be honest, I don't trust them one bit. Again, from the time I knew them, I learned that they carry a lot of horse doo-doo. I don't trust their stories yet, but then again, it's just worth looking at. Yes, let's see what happens, but I don't think it'd come to us. It'd be too expensive after all. Here we have, again, Chelsea transfer says Porter on Reece James. The way he defends with again, mentioning Wilfred Zaha, and the way he defended with Rafael Leao, again, in both games, both legs at home and at the San Siro, again, he was just brilliant. Again, kudos to Trevor Chalobah, who helped him too. Thiago Silva also did help in both games against Milan in a high level. Again, and he contributes in the attacking phase as well. Again, he's a top player. He's a top player. To me, I think this is him indirectly highlighting how much work Rich James again does when he's on the pitch, which you could say that leads to him getting injured easily. But I hope he recovers quickly and we find a permanent solution. If it's a reoccurring situation, then he should look for a permanent solution, which will most likely be him going under the knife. So again, if you're watching, let me know what you think about the Reece James situation and how you think, again, we're going to cope without him. I think the solution is already there in the sense that Graham Potter is a manager, again, that loves, to deploy wingers in the wing back position and also midfielders in the wing back position, a hybrid approach, if that's a term and that you'd better understand. So yeah, I don't think we have too much problem, but finding a solution in Reece James' position. But at the same time, we won't miss Reece because Reece is Reece. No other player can do what he does. They can, but not to the measure that Reece does it. But that's, by the way, here we have, you got to feel so bad for James and Kante. Again, top players. Do we need to manage a James game time moving forward? I think we should. I think we should. Good idea there, Gitanga David. You could argue the reason he got injured, again, the last season was that it all comes down to how many games he played because he played quite a lot. We hardly see him on the bench. So maybe that's the case, or maybe it is the issue is repeated because he needs to deal with it permanently. When I say that, I mean him going under the knife, again on the treatment table, so for doctors to find a permanent solution, which will more likely be correcting the stuff in particular in the knee. But I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and talk like I know how that can be fixed and it becomes a permanent solution. So yeah, but usually that's the case. I think, yeah, that highlights also the fact that he's the only natural wing-back player we have at the club right now. Azpilicueta isn't traditionally a right wing-back player. He's better, again, when he's deployed in the right-back position, but he actually can do the right wing-back role. But how many games consecutively can he play and not burn out at his age? But that's, by the way, again, we'll move on. I hope he recovers, but we'll talk about the solution. Hopefully I'll have other panelists join me so you can get multiple opinions and not just from me. It is usually better that way. Here we have, again, all right. If you're watching, let me know if you can still. Yeah, I'm dropping out again. Like I said, I have to buy a new Wi-Fi booster. Again, the old one again doesn't work with the system, and I don't know why. It's frustrating, really. But that's, by the way, again. This says Porter on Reece James continued. Like, I've read the previous comment. If you weren't paying attention, let me just read it so I can have a seamless transition from this particular comment to the other one. It says Porter on Reece James. The new way, again, the way he defends with Wilfred Zaha and the way he defended with Rafael Leao in both games, in both games against Milan, is a high level, and he contributes in the attacking phase as well. Again, he is a top player. You could say, again, he gets injured easily due to how much work he puts on the pitch, attacking, defending, and all that. Porter and Reece James continues the performance on the pitch are a realization of how high his ceiling can be. I think, yes, again, he is that type of player with a world-class attributes. He's capable of becoming one of the best in the world. Again, at the moment, you could argue, actually, he is one of the best in the world. But like I said, we won't miss him, but as a solution, we're looking at the solution given that Graham Potter likes to employ the hybrid approach in the wing back positions, either on the left or on the right. So again, we're not going to have too much problem there. But most importantly, Reece will be missed. Here we have yeah, I know. Again, I know what the problem is really. So thank you very much for letting me know. Though, again, blue morning, afternoon, all night, everyone. And Ty is offering whatever suits your particular time zone. You, again, please do accept. So thank you so much. I appreciate that, guys. Let me see what else we have here. Yep, just saying hi. Okay, next thing to talk about here. Or Ty, how are you doing, brother Ty?
Really well. Was looking at some feedback, but I'm all right.
Oh, you're good? Okay, brilliant. Yeah, and do you want to say anything about what I read, what Potter said about Reece James? Here are the things I've looked at. If you have anything to add to them, fine. If not, I'll move on. This is what people are saying. I think this is just because they're hearing the rumors that we're interested in signing Kylian Mbappe. I honestly do not think it's going to happen. I don't know. How about you? What do you think it's gonna? Do you think it's gonna happen? Really?
I don't think so. I don't think it will happen. But I think it'll be something that the whole ownership would probably consider. I mean, if they're considering Ronaldo and considering all these players that they think are the best players, I think they would go out and say, I will try and get this player. But I don't think it will happen because there's a lot of clubs that would be interested in Mbappe.
And we know his favorite.
Yeah, so I mean, just talking about it makes me laugh because the possibility of it happening is very slim.
Yeah, and I don't want, again, as much as I think people's concern, most people are concerned about his attitude, what they perceive as his attitude, but they got to remember he's still very young. Some say he doesn't let stuff go. Yeah, he's a kid, and he's no different from one of the again, his situation, if at any time one of the kids feels isolated, you send that type of behavior from them, and it feels like a name and see are isolating. Given the stories we're hearing, don't want him to be part of the the elite in the club. He thinks he's the main man there, or maybe what you call the main man syndrome. But I don't. Again, I really want to get into that much. So let's move on from it. But if you have anything to say about it, Ty, feel free. Anything further to say about it? Again, my internet looks like it's going to be going off and on until I do something about that. Here we have, again, Porter James. That just shows you how much he likes the guy. No need to read it again, except if you have anything to say about it. If not, I'll just move on. Should I move on, Ty?
Yeah, you can move on because this is basically what we already know.
Yeah. And this one here, again, the same thing. I've read that one. And this one here, Steven Gerrard. To me, this looks like he's into the mind game thing. Look at what he's saying there. Is that the one?
That's like he's trying to intimidate Potter.
Not really intimidation. Maybe again to trigger the TyTalkzCFC factor, because he's probably well aware how we struggle against weak opposition, especially those in the mid-table area or bottom table. His commentary, Steven Gerrard on Ground Porter, says again, when you come to places with Brighton, with all due respect, it is different when you come with a Chelsea, because they should be, competing for the league. That sounds like putting pressure on him. UEFA Champions League and coming to Villa Park and wiping the floor with us. That sounds like, you know, he's trying to trigger the charity FC factor.
So he's saying that he needs to be doing this, because that's that you realize the word is should be, not trying to, should be competing for the league, UCL, and coming to. So it's trying to say that, you know, and this is things like this is why I don't think we're gonna wipe the floor, but I would love to.
No, we will not.
But the funny thing is, we're going to be playing them on October 16. And I remember something graciously happening back under Ancelotti on that specific day. I know.
Yeah, hit me with that, Ty. I want to know.
It's when we smashed them. I think, what was it? 7-1? I think it was something like that. I don't remember the score. I know it was a lot. I think we scored, I think it was like 8 goals through at least. So I it won't be that square line, but I would love if it was, because these things are, you don't need to say this. You're under pressure of losing your job, and I don't know.
For me, again, I'm going to say this again. For me, again, if you ask me, 2 things here. 1, pressure, putting pressure on him, and 2, I think he must be, again, I'm sure he's well acquainted with Chelsea, again, in the past, not doing well with bottom table team or relegation teams or mid-table teams, however you want to phrase it. 2 things here. This part of mopping the floor with, again, to me, it's just look like, again, he's trying to play with the mindset of the players. Because if players pay attention to this, it can creep into their heads. And, you know, again, we don't have too many mature players in the team. But that's, by the way, again, big up to Bobby and Roger. Thank you guys for finding the time to join the show. If I'm going to start with Bobby immediately because he joined for us. Bobby, the question I have for you is, again, I want to know what you think about this comment from Steven Gerrard.
Sorry, as always, sometimes I'm on the go. I can't see the comment, so you'll have to
Okay, let me read it for you. He says, again, he's referring to Potter. When you come to places with Brighton, with all due respect, it's different when you come with Chelsea, because they should be competing for the league, UEFA Champions League, and coming to Villa Park and wiping the floor with us. There's a bit of mind game there, if you ask me, but you go ahead.
I don't know. You know, I don't see the value of that statement. Playing mind games at this level is almost silly because, you know, it's meaningless. You know, the same could be said about him. You know, it's one thing managing that for Glasgow Rangers as a rookie manager. It's another thing coming to the Premier League with all the money there. So I would be surprised if this actually matters to Graham Potter. It's rubbish. We've got a football match to win. We've got some of our best players out, and he has to show he's capable of using the squad. You know, his reputation was built on him getting the best out of players. Well, boy, he's got to do it now, especially at the right wing-back position. Ruben's there. If he's ahead of Chalobah, if they're playing a back 3, it should be okay. But I don't see much value in that statement. It means nothing. I don't know why he said it, why he even bothered to say it, but I guess, you know, that's him. I don't have much to say about that, to be honest.
Yeah, again, I haven't, again, paid attention to mind games, again, except when Mourinho was around. That's his thing. Roger, big up to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I want to get your thoughts on the same comment we're looking at on the screen. Again, to you, is it meaningless, or do you think, again, there's something to it?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you too, brother.
Yeah, I pretty much concur with Bobby. It's really much to do about nothing.
Yeah. So just throw that one in the trash.
Exactly.
Okay.
Funny.
Look.
Very funny.
Yeah, I get it. That's pretty much what he said to me without saying it, but I get it.
And we're back.
Yeah. But that's, by the way, again, here we have, again, Uncle David said, Brighton has been struggling since Porter left the club. That's the truth. Again, they weren't able to play their usual, again, applied again to their usual, you could say, game against, what's the other team that beat them 2-0 yesterday? Tone's team. Yeah, Ivan Tone's team.
Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford outplayed them. Correct me if I'm wrong. I watched that game bit by bit. Didn't they, Ty?
I didn't know who it was. I heard that. I saw that they haven't scored since they got the new owner. I keep saying owner, the new manager.
The new coach, right?
Have they? Oh, I'm
not sure. I haven't paid attention to that, but I'm just saying Brentford surprisingly outplayed them. Really?
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I remember hearing the new manager saying that he was thanking Graham Potter for the squad because the squad that he left him, it's already so good, and he should not have said that because I mean, you know, you can interpret it whatever way you want to, but I mean, it just shows what Potter was able to do with the team because he made the team look. I'm not saying that they're average, but he made a team that, you know, have their issues and they struggle with certain aspects of their game, and he was still able to get them to score goals, outscore opponents, actually let them look like even the biggest clubs, quote unquote, look poor. So I mean, if that's the case, then it just highlights what Potter was able to do, and and like Bobby was saying, he you know, with the squad that we have, he's gonna have to work some. I'm not going to say magic, but he's going to have to work some miracle or something.
Honestly, I'm not really concerned, Ty. You and I know that's a solution. We're looking at the solution, but go ahead with what you're saying.
The solution, there's a solution for it. It's not a life or death situation. It's not a case where it's dire where we're going to be in problem. It's just that the quality will slightly drop in terms of what you expect from a James compared to what the replacement will be. That's just the only issue.
I agree with you. James did not start against Wolves. And did we play badly? No. But again, like I said, we'll miss him still. But that's a solution in place. More importantly, again, I think I've alluded to that already. The fact that he employs that Thomas Tuchel approach, hybrid approach of playing wingbacks or playing wingers in the wingback position on some midfielders in the wingback position, and it works perfectly. You just have to change all the things so that we don't suffer defensively, because usually when that's the case, you're playing non-defensively minded players in that position. It makes sense. King A says, Wagwan, Coach, Wagwan to you too, brother. I hope you are doing well. And thank you for finding the time to join us here. Again, it's always a pleasure to see you. Chika Dibia Ezem, a good day. Coach, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking.
So was that me, Coach?
And I hope I'm talking about
that. Oh, thank God. I thought it was me. I think he's having issues too.
Yeah, connection issue.
Coach, you're going completely in and out. I didn't hear a thing, basically.
Yeah, and that happens. Keep talking. A new Wi-Fi booster hasn't arrived. I work with the new system. But Roger, I was going to ask you again, what do you think the solution will be? Because we have a solution in place, but we must recognize that there's so much games within a short span of time. Again, within a certain time, he's turn out easily because he's not that young anymore. So when we understand the solution of playing somebody like Ruben Loftus-Cheek in that position, again, what do you think? Again, how do we manage it not to run into issues? Because if Cesar Azpilicueta burns out, we're practically done in that area.
Sure. No, I get it, and it's a good question. I think Aspie played 30-something minutes a few days ago, and I think he'll be fit enough to start for, let's say, 70 minutes, probably against Villa. And whether he plays 70 to 90 is debatable. But I think we'll probably play with a back four, and I think Aspie will be the right back. And I think in the long term, it looks like we have the Christmas, the winter window coming up. I think there's a possibility. I don't know how strong it is that maybe we will address a competing player for that starting role, because I don't believe. Let's say worst case scenario. Well, don't forget worst case scenario that James is going to be out a couple of months. I'm going to say something and don't take it out of context. The good news
No.
The good news is the good news is the World Cup is going to consume at least half of that. So, I mean, it's bad for England, good for Chelsea, so to speak. So, come January, or was it Boxing Day window, then that's, I think, our first day back, isn't it? Somewhere around Boxing Day. Then I think he should be fit enough, assuming he goes to the World Cup, is fit enough and doesn't get hurt there. I believe he should be back, but that could even take another month or so. So I don't know the prognosis. We'll have to find out what transpires this weekend after Reece seeing an actual knee.
Yes, then the answer I'm looking is the solution without signing new players is what I'm looking for.
Oh, sure, yeah. Then certainly, then I think it's a rotation between Ruben and Aspie. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think it's very rare that you see a left back playing a left-footed person playing that position. A lot of times you'll see a right-footed person playing a left back spot, but it's never vice versa. I'm not sure why that is, because logic tells you that it should work both ways. So I don't know. Maybe we could use a Cucurella there, or a Chilwell there, perhaps. Theoretically, if it works for right-footed people to play on the left, why doesn't it work for left-footed people working on the right? That's very seldom seen. So that could be another aspect we could look into. But I'm not a professional coach, so I'm not sure why that doesn't occur as often as it should. Because it does vice versa. So I think that's another alternative we could potentially look into.
Yeah, Ty, what do you want to add to that? Should I just go to Bobby?
Well, no. I'm happy it came to me because what I just heard Roger say about Cucurella and Chilwell. Well, if you're gonna try that, I think the better option to use will probably be Cucurella, because he's actually comfortable passing with either foot, so it will be easier in terms of having somebody who is comfortable using their right foot, despite most dominantly being left-footed. So I think if you're going to do that, I'm not saying that that's what we should do, but if you're going to choose one of those two as an alternative, I think the better option would be Cucurella, who is more comfortable using his right foot, because despite being on the left, sometimes he uses his right foot to make passes and try to find spaces to make those passes. So it makes sense. But I think somebody mentioned this as well. There's been some academy players that are being introduced as well, and there's some players being looked at to see if you need the coverage. You have players that you can probably experiment and give them a few minutes and see what happens, because that's what we had to do approximately three seasons ago. So I mean, it makes sense, but I do think that there is a solution inside of the squad we have right now. There's a lot of experimenting that you can do, and there's certain players that I think that if you play them in the right wing back position, they would actually do quite well there. But people are not ready to hear that. I'm gonna suggest one of them, and it's gonna sound foolish to some people, but I'm going to say you could probably try Conor Gallagher there. It doesn't sound ideal, but I think if you look at what Loftus-Cheek does in terms of still playing and making up a three-man midfield, you can have a Conor Gallagher, who we all know that the right wing back position it has a lot of advancing in terms of positioning, and and you can get shots off as well. So it would allow him to at least still have an opportunity to create and also give him an opportunity to still play, even when we've established that his best position is probably more advanced. It would give him that freedom to be advanced, and also because he has some good amount of ability in terms of getting back, being able to win the ball back. It would make much sense if you try that. You could experiment, because we're gonna have to experiment, because Aspi cannot play every game in terms of the games that we have left, and Gallagher is competent enough to go forward and do something, and his crossing is quite well. So I think it will make sense for you to try that as well, along with obviously Loftus-Cheek, who may be utilized, and obviously you have Aspi who's still there. I would just consider that.
Yeah, here's the thing, but the Gallagher in that position, no. I think here's my reason behind saying I wouldn't want to see Gallagher in that position. To be able to fulfill that role very well, I think you'd have to be, again, experience comes into play to a considerable measure. But more importantly, I think you have to be cool-headed. And I don't think Gallagher is that cool-headed. I think if he plays in that, if you deploy him in that position, at least that's how I see it. Again, do I think it's possible? It's possible. Maybe it's just me jumping to an unfair conclusion, but I don't think he'd be able to fulfill that role. I think he'd get confused. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek can do it. The more experienced players, such as even Christian Pulisic, can do it, knowing fully, understanding that his primary role will again isn't to defend, but to attack. Ziyech can do it, but I don't think Ziyech gets a chance. But that's why, anyway, again, Bobby, I know you've already, again, made a statement saying, more like saying, well, again, it's Potter's job and not yours. He should find a solution to the problem. But I'm going to come back to you to get from you how you think we can actually, manage in his absence. We're looking at the solutions already. But how do we manage, again, because more importantly, we must do that cautiously. Yes, as Aspilicueta can play there, but there's only so much game he can play, and he gets burned, he will burn out because of his age. But just quickly, let me catch up with this, what we have here. Again, Tibe Salifa says, again, Dion Rankin from the academy has been training with the first team, and he is easily the most explosive player at Chelsea. He has, again, mad pace and skills for days. Wow, Lamptey 2.0. So you're saying he's going to be able to fulfill that role? I'm guessing that's a suggestion. I don't know if anybody on the panel knows the player in question very well.
I don't like that Lamptey 2.0 part, because I don't like that.
Let him be different, right?
I don't want any injury prone Lamptey. No. When Lamptey is fit, he can be very good, but he cannot stay fit. I don't want a Lamptey 2.0. I want somebody who will play good. They don't have
bring your own attributes to the table with it. Go ahead, Ty.
I mean, that means the description of him is correct. He has mad pace and skill, because I've been watching the academy. So and this is what I like about these games. Despite them not being despite them not doing the greatest, there's still players that are standing out, and they're still impressing. And this is how you find gems, because these players are unfortunately not winning games as they want to. They're drawing games, they're losing leads and end up drawing games and even losing sometimes. But you have certain players that are actually doing well. So yes, the description of him having mad pace, you can say that because we're Chelsea fans, so you're gonna describe that. But he does have an excellent amount of pace. And I mean, you have the coverage in terms of defending as well. I mean, he's so young, so obviously it still includes him learning the defensive side of it all. But he's actually good going forward. I mean, it's like you're finding a new generation of a player that can follow in the footsteps of a James, breaking into the team. But it's about what Potter wants to do. I mean, right now, if that is the case, then it's smart coverage, because it means that he's getting the experience to understand what Potter is about. He understands what that position will be, and it's giving him the opportunity to get a grip of what may happen if it comes to him getting to play some minutes for the first team. I think all things that were said about him, except for the Lamptey part, I can agree with. I just don't want another Lamptey 2.0 because he didn't even end good with Lamptey. So I don't want a Lamptey 2.0. I just want a player who will be able to cover and give us support so that if anything unfortunately goes bad, we have somebody that can fill in that role, despite them being inexperienced in the top flight. We can actually have somebody there who is actually that position and not playing other position.
Yeah, I agree with you. A good contribution there. Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Kim Soo is even saying what I'm saying. Kukurea right wing back, Chilwell left wing back. They still play. Excellent.
Yeah, but again, I think I just learned something today from Roger. Again, it's rare to see a left-footed player playing in the right-hand side. I haven't seen that happen. Again, maybe I'm not paying attention, but usually, again, because most people, again, a lot of people are right-footed. So usually, so you only pay attention to when a right-foot player is playing on the left-hand side. So maybe when the opposite happens, we don't pay so much attention to it because you feel like, it's easier, or maybe I'm not sure how to phrase it to make sense of it. Again, Tebe Salifa says, please don't judge Rankine harshly. Again, the way fans have been hating on all the Cobham graduates because they play, again, example, Livramento and Guehi, who had insult hurled at them on Twitter on the notion that they were trash. Again, we don't do that here, and I don't think anybody here has done anything. Has done the same too. Again, maybe Potter is looking at ranking for right wing back as he is a right winger. There's a chance that happens. And Potter himself, he made what I call a delicious comment saying, again, if the quality is there, the age doesn't really matter. Which you and I, again, that's the truth. Again, as long as you're able to play, as long as you're of the age to participate, if you have the quality, again, why not? Kachila, I think Loftus-Cheek, again, can cover up for Reece. Ty did mention something about Loftus-Cheek, being a huge something Loftus-Cheek being a huge part of the midfield at this point. So maybe it would be difficult to move him to that position. That may be the reason we'll see someone else there. But at this point, I don't think Potter will be in a rush to use the kid in question. As Laqueta, he hasn't played too many games at this point. I think he may well start there. We'll see someone else start there. We don't know. With Rada Kukurea on again than Conor Gallagher. To me, I've explained why I don't think it make any sense for Conor Gallagher to play there. Again, it's too much of a hard head in the kind of, again, talking in the sense of how he plays, and not like his behavior. I don't think it would be an issue. Kim, so how are you doing? Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Please, again, do let us know that you're fine. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. Kukurea, yeah, the same thing. You and Ty are saying the same thing. Again, Escape Me Tracks, again, how are you? Thank you so much for finding time to join us. He says, Tino Livramento is the best player that can come in, that comes in mind to replace Reece James. We have, again, a buyback, and we cannot play 15. To touch. All right, again, I'm going in. Again, if off too much, go ahead and continue talking. It's like this is Bobby too, so let's see what happens. I've read this one here. It says, just give me a second. Again, James has set the bar too high. Again, I cannot think of a player who would do that position justice. Probably Dumfries. That shows how good James is. That's the truth. We told him yesterday. Even Ty didn't think the Dumfries is good enough to push James. But I think here's what I think. I think he can do equally. He can do well. Maybe not. He won't, even though he won't be as good as James, but he doesn't need to be. And what we need is somebody who's capable of getting the job done if James isn't playing. And again, I'm glad we have a manager who deploys wingers in that position. So we actually have, again, in some games, I do believe he'd prefer playing wingers in the wing back positions. So I'm not too concerned in that aspect. Tino, would be a good addition, but he's coming from a long-term injury. I think Ty talked about that yesterday too, and we're not sure whether he's going to be the same again. That's very common with players. Bobby, if you're back, I know, like I said, when I asked you that question, you threw it again. No, that wasn't the question I was actually asking at that point, but you threw it to Porter. It's his job to find a solution to the problem. But again, I want to hear from you. How do you think? What do you think the solutions are? If you can think of any, I want to hear from you. Probably still in the process of unmuting his device. He uses his phone, and I understand how difficult that can be. So whenever he comes in, he can talk. Escape me. Tino won't be back from injury until.
Was it me, Coach?
Yeah, it was you. Yeah, probably you.
I get confused sometimes. You tell me to talk, then you go to the chat and go to someone else, and
no. Okay, apologies for that. I thought maybe you were still unmuting your phone.
Well, the right wing back situation clearly at the moment, as far as we know it as fans, is going to be a rotation between Aspi and Ruben. Yes, the point made by oh gosh, I was
Ty
Richard.
and Kimso, both of them made the point.
Oh, I know. Okay, and also Ty, that a left wing back playing in the right wing back position seems to be less common. Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe not less common, but perhaps less noticeable. If we do that, it's probably sensible. It's probably a way forward for now. But this is an area that needs strengthening. We've done it on the left side after the Chilwell long-term injury, but this is a warning to us about the right side. Now, any rotational player in that position doesn't have to be another Reece James. You know, you don't get another Reece James. These are sort of generational people. But it would have been a great opportunity for somebody like Livramento to understudy if he had stayed. And there's every possibility we could get him back, because it's the sort of thing you use a young player in. I was very keen for this reason on the Walker-Peters situation from Southampton and Dumfries from Inter. Now, they're not exactly players that want to be second fiddle, but we don't have that on the left-hand side. So at a club like Chelsea, we wouldn't expect that in any position. Everybody will push hard for their starting place. I suspect we won't really see Reece back till about December. And even then, you know, coming back from injury and being fit are two different things, because right now, after his injury, Chilwell's in terrible form. You know, against AC Milan, he was awful. I was surprised he lasted so long on the pitch, especially as Cucurella was on the bench. I just thought, this guy is playing really badly. And this is because he's still trying to get back his form. So we don't know what a long time out would do to Reece. Reece also tends to need a little bit of time to get back after he's been off for injuries, as what happened last season. So it is a conundrum. It's a problem. It really is. But I somehow think Potter is going to do something. He's going to do something that we're not really used to, and probably that thing could be, well, to put Cucurella on the right. I wouldn't start switching Chilwell. I think Chilwell needs to find his feet in his position first before he starts looking to play somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree with you. Chilwell, then sort his feet out first. He's still struggling, to come into, to fulfill the role he's used to before he got sidelined by that awful injury. But that's, by the way, again, it makes sense. Like, I think you and I agree, again, in the aspect that maybe, again, there's people who are predominantly.
It's Roger.
Sorry?
Roger I was referring to. I don't know why. My head's all over the place. I'm working, driving, all sorts. But yeah, it was Roger.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. So he was correct. Again, like I said, there's a chance it has happened before, but because we pay attention more when right-footed players play on the left-hand side and when the case is vice versa. But that's, by the way, here we have, again, Murtala Ibrahim says, again, morning, guys, please, what is our injuries player situation list update? Again, who and who is injured and out? Ty, can you help with that update? Again, before soon we'll get into looking at the history of the two clubs. We heard something, but I think it's fine now, Mason Mount. But if you can go ahead with the injury update, I'd really appreciate it.
Well, there was some news that Mason Mount was not in training, and then after that, there was two reasons that were given. One of them was that he had a bruise, and then another one was that he was going to get a scan for his knee. The thing is, I think he'll be fine. I didn't hear Potter say anything about Mason Mount being out or anything, so I don't really think he's injured. I think it was a precaution. And obviously, we know James is out. Kante is obviously out. I can't think of anybody else.
Yep. Again, maybe when we get to the lineup, get what we have. Look at again the history or the insights for the games. I think we'll see the full list. So thank you very much, Ty. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lucilla, for that question. Again, our last thing is something they said. Benjamin Pavard. I think he still lead. Will he still lead Bayern on the free, or has he left already? I'm not sure what happened. Kachula, what about Benjamin Pavard from Bayern Munich? I think he was. If we wanted them, if we were looking at him before, I suspect it was Thomas Tuchel who was looking at him. He's a player I really don't like that much, but again, if the manager wants him, who am I to blow against the wind? It says again, please like and subscribe when you enter if you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Yes, people, we have 20 likes and we should be doing better than that. So please take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Jamport Entertainment, Ty, please in the beat. When you get a chance, just share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. Good morning, everyone. Again, I hope you're all having a good day. Yep, we're still, again, it's been a fun show so far, and I hope you're well too. Please do let us know. How old is this, again, ranking guy? I'm not sure. I don't know him that much. Again, Pavard, yeah, that. Again. Sorry?
Don't say it like that. I don't know him.
I don't know him that much. I don't want to gaslight people pretending I know him.
He's 19. He's 19.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's 19. But he's
19, yeah.
I don't really know him.
Even though I suspect that he would be in that age range, again, I could have said 18, 19, you know, that usually what you get in the youth team. But yeah, I just don't want to, you know, start throwing numbers there. Mount is supposed to have a scan. I think they've done the scan already, and they say it's nothing too serious. Or I'm not sure, but they suspect it will probably be nothing but just a bruise. Again, but yeah, we'll see on his tie today. But it's supposed to be of yeah, he should be okay for the Villa game. So let's look at what we have here. I just went blank. Maybe it needs to refresh. Just give it. Okay, there you go. We have it open here. We have. Let me see insights. Any of the if we have insights here. Yep, I like this one. This is usually, again, gives you a clue what to expect in the game. It says, again, ranking 18th in goals scored per match, 0.8 goals. Ranked 7th. Okay, ranked 18th. Okay,
Is that me?
Ranked 7th in goals. Now, I was still reading my cut off again. It says we've ranked 7 in goals, and here it says ranked 16th in shots on target per match. 3 shots. For us, we're ranked 10th in goals considered, again, which 1.6 goals per game. Chelsea have won the previous 3 matches against Aston Villa, and we haven't lost in 5 matches. Under Graham Potter. Bobby, does that again? Do you want to talk any of those insights we looked at? Or to you, none of them mean anything to you?
Doesn't matter. This is the thing about football. You're only as good as your next game. What matters is this next game. I often laugh when people talk about stats. Oh, you know, we've always beaten these people, or, you know, we've never lost to these people. It's irrelevant. It's the next game that matters. Now, if we can continue adding to that stat, happy days. But we've got to be on our game. And I'm sure people, you know, your top class players and coaches, they don't look at these things. They're focused on the win on the day. It's only fans that look at these things, maybe a bit of bragging rights. Even as a fan, I don't look at them either, not on match day.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Roger? Do you again work with these things, or you don't care about them that much?
No, I agree with Bobby completely.
Okay. It just looks like you're here to agree to
No. Do you want me to be antagonistic? I can do that.
No. I was just kidding. To me, sometimes it can give you a clue. To me, sometimes it can give you a clue on what to expect.
What's right is right. There's no.
I was thinking
no
halfway house alike.
Truth, is there?
Sorry, what were you saying, Bobby?
I was just saying, what's right is right. You know, there's no halfway house to the truth.
I can't. You know, I can't force words out of your mouth. That's hilarious. But to me, here's the thing. I'll go to Ty in a bit. I'm sure Ty will have something to say. Usually it gives you a clue of what to expect. Does it necessarily, again, the expectations, you could say that is you could say what you expect usually, again, don't usually, or whatever you see from whatever you read from the inside, usually don't define, again, what happens in the game. But it can give you a clue. You can say, okay, they've been poor in front of goal, or you can say they've been conceding quite a lot, or some. But I get your point. I don't know if you and Bobby had a meeting today, but that's okay. Ty, your thoughts, how about you? Again, do you read anything from it? To you, it's nothing.
It's 50-50 for me, because I mean, I have to agree partially with what Bobby said about it, because I mean it doesn't really define what happens. It just like you said, which is why I say it's 50-50. Like you said, it gives you an idea of what to expect, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that this is what's going to happen. And like the examples you give about, you know, if they've been poor in front of goals, if they've been conceding a lot of goals from corners or from set pieces, things like that, it's relevant, because you can use that to your advantage to say that maybe they still haven't fixed that problem, or things like that. So I think in terms of that, it comes in good hand. But I think it doesn't really tell you, or it doesn't really give you a certain idea of what to expect, because it simply just gives you the stats of what in the past has happened. The present is low, so it doesn't necessarily matter entirely. The only aspects is if you want to focus on the fact that they need to win games, and they haven't won games in such a long time, or they are in a form of momentum, or they have adrenaline, or they have high spirits because they're winning games, or they're not dropping points, or they are winning games comfortably, or giving their opponents little to no time to really cause a threat. Maybe then that is relevant. But I don't really think that it's entirely important. But at the same time, it is helpful to see the information and give you a little deep down of what to expect, or what the stats, or what the current head-to-head is. But it's good, and you know, some teams do good in terms of when they see certain opponents, they're comfortable, they're confident that okay, we can win this team. But sometimes it's about managing the arrogance, or managing that confidence, so that you don't underestimate them, and then you end up getting beaten in the process.
Yeah, again, I do agree with you. Let me catch up with the chat in a bit. We'll look at the injuries for both teams, and then we'll talk about what lineup we'll think he will deploy again in the game. If Ryan Kenny can play right, we'll give him a chance. Again, it sounds easy, and if the manager starts him there and we lose, Kim, so you just the next thing you do is bring your train, trying to see people you'd pick up here. And here is the link to TyTalks, the panic train, by the way, to be specific. TyTalks YouTube channel, TyTalkzCFC. Go check it out. Be sure to subscribe. Again, we want Ty to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And it's going to happen because he's pumping out the videos right now. So if you haven't, go check out some of his videos. Interact with the video by commenting, by dropping a like and commenting on the videos. That will go a long way for the channel. Coach Chris says, good morning, guys. Again, wish my son X. Okay. Luck as he plays on the 8 right now. He's 5 and the best player on the team. Okay. X, son of Coach Chris. Again, I wish you the best. Again, your father, your dad, as you can see, is very proud of you. Again, I hope you get a goal today or get an assist. Again, just play well and enjoy yourself and not hurt yourself in the process. Again, it's again at that stage, game is enjoyable. And again, usually kids that age, they don't. Again, I don't see bad fouls when they play again. So yeah, nice to hear that, Coach Chris. Thank you for letting us know. So let me see, what else do we have here? Anything else? Yeah, keep liking the stream, guys. We'll have 25 likes. We should be doing better than that. Please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I don't want Mount to start tomorrow again. I would like to see Kovacic, Jorginho, or Ruben and Chukwuemeka in the midfield tomorrow. I don't want us to risk another player being injured. If we can do without Mount, I'd rather him again be rested. But let's see what happens. I think he starts tomorrow as long as he's fine. I want Zakaria to play. Again, this is me sounding like what I was sounding like when I was telling people Thomas Tuchel doesn't play with a traditional number 9. I could be wrong at this stage in Porter's case. I don't think he plays with what we call CDM or the traditional 6s. He prefers, if we're labeling those players by letters, he prefers CMs because again, he likes a dynamic midfield again. But that's why you see him he enjoys. I think he prefers playing Loftus-Cheek with either Jorginho and Kovacic. But we'll see. That may well be the issue with again what you could say frustrating, leading to Zakaria not having played even a single game, even a minute. Click again. Yes, people keep liking the video. Again, 26 likes. We can do better than that. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Again, it says, I am a very strong supporter of Ty's channel. Yeah, that's good to see. Again, it makes sense. He deserves it. Again, good content. Yeah, okay, looking at the screen right now, we have, again, here's the injured players here. 4. Ty, if you see any of them you want to talk about, whether any of them you're glad isn't playing. Yeah, again, Augustinson is out. Digne, Lucas Digne, that's former Everton player, right? He's out. French international. Leon Bailey, Jamaican, right? Is out. Yeah, Diego Carlos is out. Boubacar Kamara is out. These are all fine players. Ty, your thoughts?
Kamara.
You think they're weakened?
Kamara is. I haven't seen Kamara play.
We wanted Boubacar Kamara, didn't we?
Years ago.
Oh, okay. We talked about him because we were calling for the club to sign a DM then, and he was available, and we didn't do anything. And then he joined Aston Villa. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, those are some interesting players to be without. I mean, Leon Bailey has really been excellent for them, so I don't really think that's a big miss for
Dean
them.
starts for them when he was fit.
Lucas Digne is probably a blow for them, but I don't think that. I mean, Diego Carlos. I mean, that's an unfortunate one because they literally signed him this summer from Sevilla, and they just got that big injury, and he's out for most of the season now. I mean, I don't really think that deal on minus probably Lucas Digne. I don't really think that they're really without. Is there anybody else after that?
I think that's where the list stops. 1, 3, 4, 5 again. 5 players for them.
So who's the other player? I'm not seeing it.
Which one? This one here?
Oh, never mind. It's Kamara. Never mind.
Boubacar Kamara.
Yeah. So
he played for them that much when he wasn't good, and he will be out until December. Wow, for Diego Carlos, it's February. Leon Bailey just doubtful. There's a chance he participates. Lucas Dean, late October. He's getting close. I don't know this Augustinson very well to know how important he is to them. Okay, let's look at the probable. Go ahead, Ty.
I don't really think it's a big problem for them. I mean, they have players that can still fill in. I mean, and you can look at that potential lineup that we're seeing as well. That they still have quality. I mean, I haven't really. Ollie Watkinson hasn't really been that impressive, but he hasn't been bad. And I mean, Buendia is 50-50. Sometimes he can be the best player, sometimes he can be the worst player. So, I mean, they have the options. I just think that probably the downside is probably that they probably be without Lucas Dini, although he's not as
Lucas in absence is why isn't it why Ashley Young is starting?
Yeah, and I love Ashley Young starting because I oh, the omens that I have.
Ty, be fair with your judgment. I know we're trying to go, but go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's they still have quality there. I mean, I think the plan was obviously to minimize the games that Mings would play, but Diego Carlos is out for most of the season, so I think at the end of the day, he's going to have to play more games. And I mean, the midfield, it's commendable. I like it. It probably needs some improvement, but I like Douglas Luiz. And I mean, Ramsey's
he's one of your best players, man. I think they're talking about giving him a new contract, and they?
Yeah, and Arsenal wants him.
Yeah, that's why they're trying to extend his contract. Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they still have the quality. It's just about we'll be able to pounce on the fact that they have an Ashley Young or a Mings who have been questionable sometimes, and get the best results. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins. Wait. He's a top scorer with 1 goal. So I don't mean to laugh. They have a problem. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ty. Am I seeing double here? If anybody on the panel is seeing something different here.
It says top scorers.
What did you say, Ty? You think it's wrong?
It says top scorers. I mean, I'm not laughing because I mean, Sterling is we're still our top goal scorer scored 3 goals. I'm not laughing, but what?
So yeah, which means his is 1.
Which is why I'm saying that Ollie Watkinson has not been the greatest so far this season because
something seems off with him. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's unfortunate, man. We need to pounce on this, but I'm hoping that we've entirely we have put in CFC, which is Charity Football Club, in the bin, and we will become Clinical Football Club. I want to see a different CFC. I don't want to see any more Charity FC. I want to see Clinical Football Club because I'm tired of seeing us job pointed team that are struggling. And then you never know. Ali Watkinson scores a hat-trick because he's so hungry to get more goals. And then
Ty, stop. Just shut up. Oh my, yeah, but that's I think even I haven't seen anything that again that I could say gives me the vibes that Charity FC is still in effect. Hopefully it's in the bin, in the trash already. Maybe because the new manager bounce is still in effect, but I think what we've witnessed so far on the ground, Potter goes goes beyond the new manager bounce. I think there are improvements we've seen. But go ahead, Ty, if you were still saying something. I get your fears. Yes, he scored just 1, and maybe now against us he bangs in 3. But I don't want that to happen. Ty, go ahead. We're still saying anything? If not, Bobby or Roger, if any of you have anything to say with what we just looked at, you go ahead. If not, I'll get what we have in the chat, and then we'll talk about what we think will be the lineup that he plays tomorrow. I'm going to have to switch to the internet. This one is using, okay, I've seen the connection that this system is using. Bobby, you have anything to say? Roger, how about you?
No, I'm fine. Let's go to formation, sir.
Okay. I'm guessing Bobby will say the same thing. So no need to even ask him. Okay. Oh my, that's hilarious. But first, let's just look at this quickly. These are all part of it. Again, let's see what people think. Win probability. I think the votes here. I think again, probably the vote. The poll happened somewhere. 53% Chelsea winning, 21%. That's on paper. Again, let's see what happens. On 90 minutes, we'll find out. 26% a draw, and they are on the table. We are fourth, and yeah, we actually have done quite better than what most of us think would do this season, and we lost just one game. And Villa are 16th on the table, 2 draws. Oh my! Okay, where's the record actually? How many draws? This is not good to find. It's not going to help me like that. But let's say their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, 2 draws, 1 win, 3 draws, 1 win, and 1 loss. Yeah, again, they've been horrible, but there are worse teams there. But we'll move on from them. Just quickly, let me catch up with the chat. Then we'll come back. We'll talk about the lineup. I've read that one on the screen right here. I said Zakaria should be given a chance, considering what we are going through. I'm not sure whether here's the thing. This is no time to experiment. Again, I'm not sure he can. We'll see. Again, maybe he gets a chance. It's just Potter just wants to be fair. Again, he said, "Thank you. I will give you an update on the game tomorrow. Thank you very much. I really would like to know again." And yeah, I know hates this sort of thing, can encourage them. I hope he does well. Leon Bailey needs again a better team with better quality. Better quality players. When I see him going to tell him to push for Chelsea, yeah. Will Chelsea want him? One thing is for him to push for Chelsea.
We wanted him a couple of years ago.
Yeah, when he was on fire, he was a different player then. Or maybe you could say, I think there's some measure of truth to what Jean Paul just said. The issue may well be the club he plays for. They don't have good enough quality to bring out the best in him. But usually, here's my saying, Ty: a good swimmer will never sink with a sinking ship. So if he's that good, he still stands out. I know he's that good, but something isn't quite right. I'm not sure what it is. He's a player I liked, and he's explosive too. Good with his feet and all that. I'm not sure what happened, but again, I'm not going to go into it because we're here to talk about Chelsea Football Club. So people, again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But thank you for saying that. Okay, Hulk Hogan brother says, brother. So you, brother, how are you? I hope you're doing well, brother. Thank you for joining the show, brother. I hope you're enjoying it. Please, again, thank you. If you have any questions, shoot it, and we'll try to address it. Okay, Mr. Pulisic, okay, the Pulisic attorney. That's Coach Chris. That's, by the way, yes, people keep liking the stream. 29 likes. We should be doing better than that. But I appreciate what we have so far. I'd be ungrateful not to do so. Luis signed a new contract yesterday. What, Luis? Is it the Aston Villa guy we talked about? Is that him?
Excellent.
Who?
I think it's him. Yeah, it is him. Excellent. That's
him. So you're happy because he's not going to go to Arsenal?
Yes.
Right now, again, it's hard to go past our defense. We will again beat Aston Villa again. Yeah, but you can say minus James. We're not going to find a solution. Let me see anything else. What else do we have here? Hope Spurs lose today. That's Susan Gisson. Yeah, I hope they lose too. Again, that gives us the opportunity. If they lose, what happens really? Let me check the table again. Just quickly, Spurs, they have they have 20 points and they played 9 games, right? So if we win today, we'd be at 19. So if they play their 10th game and they lose, so if we will get 22 points, so we'll top with it. Yes, I see those things that made me hate Conte. Again, the way they play, was it against Arsenal? What thing was that? Again, Conte is not about playing football. It doesn't have to be pretty. If they're playing small, but big teams, they saw quite a lot. Again, he's way too pragmatic to my liking. That's how I think that's a better way to phrase it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share the stream. Let us try to 300 likes today before the match starts. Wow. Okay. I take it. We're at 30 right now. So we're 10% into that number. I like the spirit, brother. I have to tell you that. Here we again smash the like button, says my brother and Bobby, who's also on the panel. Please do that. I appreciate that. And here again, TyTalks is again the link to Ty's YouTube channel. I cannot say that enough. He even had Roger preach about his channel yesterday. That's to show you it is not just me hyping Ty's channel because we've become brothers over time. Quality content. Go check it out yourself. Please give it a shot. Believe me, you will thank me later. But that's, by the way, again, here we have Coach Chris, again, a politics lawyer, saying, hey, Jampot, we have a manager now that seems interested in developing a talent and putting people in positions to succeed. I may be out of a job. So, yeah, I like that. That makes sense because you're not going to be fighting every time on why isn't he starting or not. But seriously, again, Potter seems like a man that realized, it's played on the pitch with talented players. Football is played on the pitch with talented players, and it's not all about his system. That's a sensible argument. Chukwuemeka playing against his team tomorrow. Oh, that's a chance that happens. Coach, again, Leon is a top quality. I know that, but something seemed off, right? It seems he joined, since he joined Aston Villa. Like I've told you before, if you're a good swimmer, you will never sink with a sinking ship. As long as you're awake when it starts sinking, you can jump out and save yourself. In this case, he can stand out if he's really that good, but he hasn't really done that at Aston Villa. Maybe the case is that, again, he's not been given enough opportunity. There's a chance that's the case. Coming back to the panel, I'm going to start with you, Roger. What formation? I know you said the other day that I'm smithing by a particular formation, right? You're still going to say that? And you guessed it. That's the formation I have on the screen. I think 4-2-3-1. Go ahead.
I think from what we've said, you're killing me today, Coach.
Yeah, I'm smithing. Yeah.
Excuse me. I think from what I've observed, when we play a team that, shall we say, is equal, if not better than us, quote unquote, he plays with a back three. I think, and also when we play away, but playing a, shall we say, and I really mean this respectfully, but playing on any given day, as the expression goes in America, on any given day, anyone can beat you. It's just as simple as that. And they actually say on any given Sunday. But I believe that we're playing a team that is not in form and is, let's be honest, inferior to us for the most part, on the squad-wise. But this is on paper. But I believe he'll revert back to a back four. I really do.
Which is I remember, we must remember, a hybrid approach overall.
Yeah, in all likelihood, yes. But don't forget, whether we play with a 3 or a 4 back there, you know, for all intents and purposes, we're playing in their opposition's half. Simple as that for the most part. So it depends how many players we have back to defend. And then without the ball, it's probably going to be back 4. You know, but I see us, it could be a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. It all depends. He actually has gone for the most part with the 4-2-3-1 twice, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, which is great because this allows more number 8s to play or more attacking players to play. So I like that. And also, it does allow the backs to actually press up higher. You know, I think that's a very strong possibility we're going to see this formation. But we're playing away, aren't we? This is at Villa Park, isn't it? Yeah. Are we playing away? We're not playing at the Bridge, are we?
And it's disappointing now. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's at Villa. I don't know. Again, you know you have to talk the atmosphere for every. Do you think? What do you think? I think it's going to be different for us there.
You're going in and out, Coach.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll bring Bobby in. Bobby, what formation do you think he'd deploy tomorrow?
Tomorrow or today? Is it
No,
tomorrow?
are we playing today?
No, it's tomorrow. We're playing on Sunday.
Bobby.
Yeah, we're playing tomorrow.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that.
Did you have your coffee yet?
I think no, I haven't actually. I'll have to stop off at Costas.
But it's easy to think it's because this is more like almost nearly the same thing we do on pregame pregame shows. But go ahead, Bob.
I think it would be like a 3-5-3 switching 4-3-3. It's going to be flexible. I think it's quite good that they have so many injuries because they've got some fast wingers at Villa. And it's not the left side I'm worried about, but the right side. It's a bit suspect. Ruben is great. Does he have the pace of Reece James? No, neither does Aspie. And without someone like Kante in the middle, it could be a bit of an issue. They might have to sit lower back a bit. So I don't know. I think it'll be that. I don't look at, you see, the days of formations, we start with a 4-4-2 and that's what's going to go through the games. That's gone. That's gone. You know, teams are changing in game, especially the top teams. Evolving. I've said this for years. You know, formations don't really mean that much. You could see them start with a 3-5-2. I mean, sorry, a 3-5-3. But they will. Sorry, what am I saying? Is it 3-5-3 or 3-5-2? I don't know.
3-5-2.
3-5-2. But in game,
Bobby, listen, Bobby, it happens to all of us.
It happens to me a lot. I'm getting old.
Todd Bowley's rubbing off on Bobby.
Yeah. Todd Bowley's was 4-4-3. It happens. Yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
You see why I said Todd, you know, that doesn't mean Todd doesn't know anything about football. These figures can get a bit mixed up. But I mean, but I can see lots of switches depending on what Villa does. Look, ultimately, we should be beating Villa. That's where I do agree with Steven Gerrard. We should. Will we on the day? Well, you know, this is the Premier League. You've got to turn up. There's no gimmies here. You've got to turn up. You've got to play to your full potential because they'll be ready, no doubt about it.
Yeah, so, the match is won on the pitch, not on paper.
Exactly. So I start with a 3-5-2, but I suspect that would probably mutate into a 4-4-3-3. And knowing Potter, he often likes his 4-2-2-2. He will do all that in game, depending on what the situation evolves.
Yeah, but Potter again is very unorthodox, and again, like you said, modern day football, the structure doesn't really matter. Application is what matters. That's why you often hear system information. But again, those terms are interchangeable, and people get confused.
Look at what Milan tried the other day. You know, people don't realize. A lot of their downfall was that they played with the back two for too long. A lot of that first half, they were with the back two, Tamori, and I've forgotten who else was at the back with him. They were so wide apart. There were spaces. You know, I don't care what they did, but, you know, that's just testimony to the fact that formations will change. And ours will definitely, you know, we won't have a fixed formation in this game.
No, here's the thing. Like I said, application is what matters. And underground Potter, the approach is so dynamic. It's even sometimes very difficult to figure out what the structure is. But I get your point. On modern day football, it's all about application, not really the structures. Again, because you can see two different managers. They say they play the same structure, the same formation, if you prefer. but the application is different. For instance, Thomas Tuchel's 3 at the back and Antonio Conte's 3 at the back are two different things altogether. Ty, to you, again, what do you think of the structure of formation would be?
Firstly, I think it'll be 4-4-3. We won't be playing with a goalkeeper. Kepa will be he'll be playing at the right wing back position, and after that, obviously we will switch it to a 4-2-3-1/3-4-2-1, and eventually then we will obviously see Koulibaly and things like that happening. But I do think to be serious, I think it will stick with a back three. I wouldn't be surprised if we play with a back four, because considering we don't really have James, so we may play with the formation that suits Aspi's best position, and then maybe it'd be easier for him. But I would probably say it would be our customary 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3, 3-4-1-2, whatever you want to call it.
Here's the only reason why I think he plays a 3 at the back, a 3-4-3, or again, or 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2. That's a reversing the front three, either 1-2 or 2-1. But here's the thing. The only reason I think that we may well play without, again, we play with a 3 at the back, is that if he decides, again, yeah, I think this is the most likely structure, actually. The most likely, in the sense, these are the guys we actually have available right now. Except even if Mason goes out, I think he'd probably push Gallagher centrally, because I think Gallagher can play there. Is he as creative as Mount? No. The only thing I think he can get you more goals than Mount does, or maybe Kai gets to play in the number 10 position while Aubameyang starts essentially here. I know, Roger, I'm smithing, yes, but looking at what we have here, Thiago Silva is will most likely be rested. Let me see when our next game is. If it is close, I don't see him starting this one. Yeah, just give me 1 second, because he's
Next
played
game's
again
on Tuesday against Brentford.
Yeah, so that's really close. So I think Thiago Silva gets rested today, and I think this will be the most likely approach, if you ask me. A hybrid approach, if you guys remember. We switch again with this. We switch to back three in attack, and then back to back four when we defend. What do you think, Ty? The likelihood of the formation being, again, 4-2-3-1, because if Mason is going to play, he was delicious to watch on that day. Like, again, Roger will tell you when he gets to talk, I'm smithing, really. This structure brought out the best, again, in all the players that played that day. But go ahead, Ty.
Sorry, what did you say? You said something about back four and back three.
That is, this structure, it was a hybrid approach that day.
Yeah.
In attack, it turns to three. Back three.
Oh, you're talking about the Wolves game? Yeah. Because I remember that, because you had Cook.
And in this case, Reece didn't start. You remember? So we were able to play as good as we played in his absence with this structure. So that's why I'm thinking maybe he switches to this. The only thing that will make a difference is if Mount, again, if it turns out he wants to rest Mount, again, which also there's still a chance for him to play Kai Havertz in that position and still play Gallagher on the flanks. Again, you can say literally on the flanks, but he did well there. So I think this is given what we have and the situation, I think this is the most likely. I want to get your thoughts. What do you think? If you think otherwise, let us know.
Yeah, I think this is the best approach, because this is what I'm saying. Like, the better thing is on paper you start with that, but it changes in game, because as we look at, you need support for him. He's not the same player. I mean, it's ironic, because he used to be the coverage player when he used to play with his back three, and he'd always be the right centre back. But he needs the support, and I think based on what he did against Wolves in terms of playing like the Aspi that we knew from 6 years ago and beyond, it was his best performance this season. He seemed more comfortable. He was actually putting crosses, creating chances, even having shots at goals. So I mean, I think this is probably the best approach to use. Obviously, if we're gonna rest Mason Mount, because he needs the rest, and based on what Potter said, I think if even after the scan, I think he probably would rest him because I mean he's been playing a lot of games and he said it himself that Mason Mount is an important part of what he's trying to do, and I think you have to give everybody an opportunity, and Gallagher or potentially Havertz playing behind Aubameyang because I think Aubameyang will be playing. There's a lot of alteration that will be probably done because Havertz possibly may play if Mason Mount is going to get rested and then you have Aubameyang up top. I think this is the best.
I think Havertz played. Did they start this game? No.
Who?
You said Havertz, right? You said Havertz may play, and I think he started this one because he didn't start the previous.
That's true.
No. Yeah, he didn't. So he gets to play. But go ahead with what you were saying, Ty.
Yeah, I think, well, it depends on what Potter wants to do. If does he want to start Aubameyang or does he want to start Havertz? I think I would not be surprised if Potter is trying to not be predictable because he doesn't want to start Aubameyang every game. And when you do that, the defenders will be focusing on preventing him, trying to prevent the focal point, although sometimes it may be wide. So I think probably, it's about not being predictable. So if he chooses a false nine system, then I would not be surprised because fluidity, and I mean we were fluid against Wolves using this formation and this selection. So I would not be surprised, but I don't know. Would he drop Aubameyang? I don't want to use drop. Would he not start Aubameyang after his performance?
That's a chance he wouldn't. The games again, he needs to get some rest too. Otherwise, he burns out. Broja has to get a chance. That's how I see it. But go ahead with what you're saying regarding the structure.
Yeah. So essentially, if he's going to rest Aubameyang, then Havertz up top, fluidity. I am all for it. And I mean, it's the best thing. Obviously, I think Jorginho, I love the Sheik. There's a concern for me because I think one of them needs a rest. They've been playing a lot of games back to back, and I think there's a lot of rotation that needs to be done. But I think that's the best structure to use, considering that fluidity. We know that fluidity happens when you play the false nine system. So I would be all for it being the structure that we use.
Yeah, I'm all for it, honestly. Let me see what we have in the chat. I think we should sign a wing back again in January because of James. I think the same too. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Good. We haven't even spoken about what defenders we'll have on the bench because everybody's on the field.
Again, let's look at. Let me show that again. Again, these guys are all available. That's why I say again. If you look at this lineup, it's most likely going to be the same structure, which is 4-2-3-1. And then it was delicious to watch. Every player, no player underperformed on that day. They all did well. The only thing that could change may well be, again, Mason Mount. That's we don't know the severity of what he said. He's going to go for a scan to find out, again, if it's just a muscle scar or something like that, bruise or something like that. Against AC Milan away. Cucurella didn't start, did he? No. Koulibaly start. Yeah, he started, yes, again, but we can't drop Koulibaly and drop, and drop Silva at the same time. Silva most likely will be rested because he's played, that would be 3 games in a row, right? If he starts that game. Chalobah is still young. I think at this point he's still fine. Again, Aspi started against Milan away. Did he, right? He did. Did he? No, correct me if I'm not sure. Let me look at it again to be sure of what I'm doing here. So my point is, let me just go straight to the point. My point is a lot of players here, this guy didn't start in that game. This guy didn't start in that game. So that's like, again, that's why I'm saying most likely Gallagher gets a chance to start. Pelusi gets a chance to start. Who else didn't play that day that gets a chance to start? Cucurella too didn't start against Milan. So he gets a chance to start. So to me, I think, yeah, it's more likely to be the structural. Defensively, there's no problem because these guys are all fit. So, Bobby, go ahead with point you were trying to make.
I was saying that now we are scraping, I wouldn't quite say the bottom of the barrel, but we have dipped into the squad and we're using the players of the squad. But the problem here is that we don't have replacements even for those players. And this is where the strength of the bench comes in. Because, yes, Thiago Silva has to rest. And for him, rest means he won't even travel. And I think the defensive line is thin now because we're playing all our defenders. We have to play Chalobah. We have to play Koulibaly. And Aspie somehow probably has to play as well. So there's no one else. If you want to make a substitution, there's really no one else, unless he dips into the academy. That shows just you see, this is the thing in football. You know, it's so funny. I hear people say, "Oh, he wants to leave. Oh, he wants to leave. He's on the bench. He has no game time." It can switch any minute, especially around this time of the year. And we've been here before. We keep being here because of this lack of strength in depth. We get rid of players in August and suffer for it October, November, December, January. You know, had we kept the likes of Ampadu, this would be an opportunity for him, at least on the bench. You must always not only look at your first team, but look at the strength of your reserves. It's critical for a top team.
Yeah, it is. And there's Roger Joan.
It's very funny. It's very funny. Very, very funny. Because I remember when people were talking about Levi Cole and, oh, why are we going after these players and we have Levi Cole? You need depth. You can't just have a size up. I mean, it's funny. I keep saying that no matter what formation you use, you need at least 6 centre backs. Because
he'll be playing now, won't he, Ty? He'll be on that field now because left centre back is vacant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pathetic. People only think about the first team and say, "Oh, we're signing these players, and Levi Cole is not going to get game time." He would have gotten game time because we would have had these problems because we have players that have injury issues, and they would still need to be played because you have to rotate. But people didn't think about that. They're just thinking that, oh, we're signing these players, so he's not going to get an opportunity. Now we're suffering it firsthand. And like you said, Ampadu, if Ampadu had stayed, I think probably we would have had at least a bench of a centre back playing or being on the bench. But it is what it is. We didn't plan perfectly, and I mean we started off late in the window. We all know this, so everything was done last minute, and a lot of the Deadwood players were only left the club on deadline day and days before it. So I mean we never thought this through, and it was just an immature thought from everybody at the club.
It was, if I may say, it was naive at best. I can give 2 examples that just befuddled me. One is Ethan Ampadu, which you chaps brought up. I couldn't believe he went out on loan again. And number 2 was Gilmore. And I understand the Gilmore was slightly different, but still, it's very naive for a team's hierarchy, front office, to think that you can go through a season, especially in this league, and especially when you're playing midweek in European tournaments, that you will never sustain any injuries. It has a knock-on effect. One position, like we lose James, we're going to have to move Aspie to the right in all likelihood. That means that he would not be available to play right CB in a 3, hypothetically. So that really does, mess around the rotation, so to speak. So there's many knock-on effects in one position that can affect another position. And you're correct, gentlemen. I totally agree. We need between 5 and 6 players. And I think Ethan, watching him play for Wales, I think he's very good. He can actually play, a defensive midfielder position also, which he's done. I really was befuddled by that, why we put him out on loan. I know he probably wanted to get more playing time. I get it. But I thought that was a mistake.
As much as I thought it was, I think, again, it's come to my mind. I've thought about it and think, again, and I've said to myself, that was a big mistake. There's a chance, exactly, in most cases, we don't know until later that the player himself asked to leave on loan.
No, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, again, I've stopped beating up myself whenever such things happen. in the case of...
I don't buy into that, though.
But coach,
I can't buy into that.
Yeah, exactly. But coach, I just sorry for interrupting, Ty. But you know, it's up to the coach or the front office, whomever, to inform him that, listen, you're going to get playing time because we have 3 cup games, 3 cup competitions. I mean, you've got the European, you've got the league, and you've got the 2 domestic cups. You're going to play, and there's going to be injuries in all likelihood, and a need for rotation because of leg strength. You know, because whenever has there been a season where a team has not lost players due to injury or the need to rotate? It just doesn't happen when you're playing 60 to 63 games a year, or 58 to 60, let's say. You know, we played last year, I think it was, or the year before, 63.
Ty, you were saying something.
Sorry, Ty.
Yeah, but it's essentially what Roger was saying, because I don't buy into the fact that the player actually, because Chalobah wanted to leave, and up until during the final day, he was said to leave, not only permanently.
No, we don't know if Chalobah wanted to leave. I heard even from his interviews, he's always said he wants to stay. He was asked blatantly, are you planning on... He said no. The interview, I saw the interview, part of the interview myself. But go ahead to make your point. That's a different thing altogether. Go ahead, Ty.
But at the same time, he also said that he's hoping that he'll get game time. There's important aspects of it. He's not going to come out and say, yes, I want to leave the club because they want to sign for Fofana. They want to sign Kimpembe. He's not going to come out and say that. But the point I'm making is that whether or not a player wants to leave, or they say, let me leave on loan so I can get game time, the manager can say, no, you'll get the game time. I mean, look at Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi wanted to go on loan. He got his loan this past summer, but he wanted to go alone before that, and Tuchel said no, because we need him. We need depth. And I mean, it's not simply about... Tuchel did not really think that certain players were good enough, or probably not good enough, but he wanted certain players at the club. He didn't get some of them. He got one of them in terms of the centre backs, and because of that, he was trying to make a leeway or make some space for the additions to come in. Unfortunately, we only got one, and we let Levi Cowell go on loan. We allowed certain people to leave. So whether or not a player wants to leave, we've seen in some instances where it's the opposite. Sometimes a player is put on the transfer list because you want them to be sold, and then they get sold and they don't know that they got sold. And there's also a situation where they want to leave, and you keep them against their own will. You can do that. And then their circumstance changes, they get to play more games, and then their whole mentality changes about wanting to leave. We've seen that happen so many times at clubs. So I can't buy into the fact that this player was asked to leave and this is the case and that, because you can stop them for believing, because at the end of the day, the final decision is by the club itself, and the club has to inform everybody that is responsible or included in that process. So I can't buy into the fact that he asked to leave and we allowed him to leave. I just think it's about... He said he wanted to leave, if that's the case, and they said, okay, you can leave because you won't be getting game time here. That's the only way I can understand it. But I can't mind to the fact that he wanted to leave and we just let him leave because he asked to leave. I don't think so.
All right. Again, I get you. Again, that's why I love the Blue Morning Show. Again, always, different, contributions to the conversation or debate. Always something to learn. But I appreciate that. Let me look at what we have in the chat, then I'll come back on the panel as soon as possible. Again, Ty here says, again, Lukaku is reportedly beginning to fall out of favor, in quote, with Inter after he is handed another injury setback. He has reportedly struggled to return to fitness after an injury 6 weeks ago. Did I see? Maybe I saw something that I believe I should have read, and I didn't read. Something regarding, I don't know if it was that they're trying to keep him, but I don't want him back at the club. But unfortunately, like, again, I've reiterated before, I think we're stuck with them. Inter wouldn't take him on a permanent, because I say, again, they've seen it firsthand. He's not the same anymore. But that's, by the way, again, I'm not going to argue why that is. Again, Edin Dzeko is now favored as a striker. Again, you can say he's a better overall player. If you really want to talk about it, he's good on the ball and all that. I agree with Coach Chris. I've really liked, again, what Partey has done so far. but I'm not giving him all the praises yet until we face a City, United, or more top clubs. I hope we get a PSG in a round of 16. Here's the thing: these big teams are teams really Porter's team would do well against. I think the test I'm waiting to see is when we play against teams that defend deep. And yeah, that to me, personally, that's the only test that's left for Porter. But I'm sensing a situation where, again, something similar to the case of Thomas Tuchel. When he newly arrived, every game, the test, and he kept in the test as the test of the UEFA Champions League. Again, with flying overall, things changed afterwards, but immediately. 3-4-3, you think we'll see 3-4-2-1? Okay. Let me see. Again, I am glad Leon is injured in this match because he's definitely a player that could hurt us. But even when he was injured, was he starting games? I'm not sure how often he started on the what's his name, under Steven Gerrard. But we'll see. Please like and subscribe, guys. Again, 35 likes. We can do better than that. So subscribe if you haven't. Steve, again, I really want to see how well we do against a superstar team like PSG. Like I said, we'll do well against those teams actually because there's space. When I see us again performing against these clubs, I feel comfortable with Porter. That's not going to be the problem. The problem, I think, we'll start noticing again against teams that defend deep. Again, I don't know whether to cry or to laugh or cry. I don't know whether it's true, but I read that Inter were interested in buying him. Yeah, I think I saw something similar too.
On a permanent. Yeah, they can't buy an injured player who's barely played for them. The last time he played was months ago. And he scored only one.
Ty just says, just shut up and listen. Practically,
he just scored one goal. He played 90 minutes every game, and he only scored one goal the whole season.
He's poor. I don't think they buy him. Maybe if they sense they can buy him on a cheap, Italian clubs are good at doing that. Yeah, but I don't see that happening. We owe them nearly, it should be less than 70 mil right now, but it should be quite a lot of money still. The game versus Villa tomorrow, and the one Brentford is on Wednesday, so they're very close. I don't see Silva starting tomorrow. Who would you want a chance to sign to be a backup for Reece James? Oh, did anybody in the chat tell him? The language backup competition. You can say I think
that is a mandatory 5-minute ban.
I wanted Jonathan Klaus. Dumfries is okay. Again, not really competition like Ty pointed out, but you could say good enough, to come in again, a rotational player. That's fine. It makes sense to me. Yeah, but again, go check out my brother's YouTube channel. He will share the link to his channel when he gets a chance. Again, there aren't too many there that can measure Reece James. But yeah, Dumfries would be nice addition to the team. Again, if he's on the pitch, you'd be, again, confident knowing he'd do a good enough job. You have a point, Steve, but that's my opinion. Or when I think, again, what I think needs to happen before I give Potter, again, yep, your yardstick there, again, what's it again? Roger prefers to use metrics. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Here again, I think Aboli should change our medical team. They're not doing well. He's doing that already. But again, apparently Didier Drogba isn't happy with the changes. He made a comment publicly saying he doesn't understand what's going on, letting people go, someone who's been at the club for years and all that. I think probably because he knows the person in question, so he wasn't happy that the person was let go. But I'm not going to talk about that. What he thinks at this point doesn't really matter. The owners, they don't care. My critics are just saying hello there, so I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to skip quite a lot of comments. If I've read a few of your comments, I'm going to skip some of them. I want to catch up so we can go ahead build the lineup. My friend and brother Faldiazo, a.k.a. Boogeyman, says again, what if the young star want to leave? Yeah, we've talked about that before. They need to play regularly. Again, yeah, it will not be okay to be selfish. Keep them because we need to have numbers, and then end up, not end up. You could say, what's the better way to phrase it? End up again. stopping them from developing properly. I think that's another way to say it. Again, they need to play regularly to develop and reach their potential. So sometimes it just doesn't make sense to to force them to stay. I remember some of us saying we cannot play 11 youngsters under Thomas Tuchel. I don't think we can either. I don't want a Ruben playing center back. Steve, he's not going to play there. Again, anything else to read here? I really want to get through what we have in the chat. Again, PJ Kelly, hi. Again, oh, yeah, okay, you're responding tonight, but go ahead with it. I hope you're doing well, PJ Kelly. The analysis should not be. Okay, I went out. The analysis should not be the same. We're not talking about youngsters or mature players. Experienced, older, and old players wouldn't mind playing backup. Young players need a regular game time. That's the same logic. It's common sense. They need to do and they need to do well. The Other Time podcast says again, when it comes to having a set of quality players on the bench, do you think that one factor that causes issue is the bench players demanding to be a starter instead of earning that spot? That's again the issue. You could say sometimes some bench players again are a lot of quality. Let me just be factual here. A lot of quality players are internationals, represent their countries on the international scene. So again, they wouldn't be content sitting on the bench. But then again, more importantly, the whole thing comes down to how the manager, the selection, how the manager manages the selection process. If you rotate teams, if you have a lot of games to play and you rotate players, then they don't have a problem knowing that if this guy plays this time, next time I get to play. Or maybe I play in Europe, this guy plays in the Premier League, something like that. Again, you have to be a good manager also to keep, to manage the selection process in a way that all the players will be happy. I've seen it happen. It happens. Man City does it. Liverpool, they do it too. Sir Alex Ferguson was the person you could say did it the best, the most. So again, it all comes down to how the manager manages the situation. If you make one feel more important than the other person, when they're all you could say on form, and you're not rotating and you're just sticking to one because you prefer that one over the other, then the one on the bench will end up not being happy. So yeah, it's not an easy situation actually. Easier said than done. Lukaku is definitely our worst buy ever. Again, he fails. He fails Chelsea and he's failing at Milan. Again, his pride and joy. He needs to stop his foolishness and do well so we can sell him back. Yeah. I hope he's listening. It's easy to just switch from being in a poor on the form to doing well. I think it's not that easy. I know back up. It's not. Ruben covers for Reese again. I'd rather Ruben play there than Gallagher, like Ty suggested. But that's by the way. I think we should go into building the lineup. Sorry,
I just heard my name. What did I do?
Now I was saying you said you sent something similar to what's his name, Gallagher playing in the right wing back position or so as a solution when we were discussing the solution.
Who said that?
I thought you said that.
No, who said that? I thought you said somebody else said it.
No, you said it. No, maybe because I called you Kai by mistake. But that's by the way. Let's go into building the lineup. Roger, I'm going to start with you again. We go back to it again. The goalkeeping position, I think, nothing changes there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't believe Kepa has done anything to warrant him being replaced. But then again, as I said, if the lineup comes out tomorrow and it's Mendy, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I think he goes with Kepa. I think in a recent question in a press conference, he was asked about the rotation, and he pretty much very diplomatically alluded to the fact that Mendy is healthy and he's pleased with Kepa.
Which is practically saying at this point, Kepa stays where he is because he's doing well.
It's his job to lose, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I've heard that argument from you. You don't change the goalkeeping position that like that. But Ty, your thoughts, the goalkeeping position. Who do you think starts? Go ahead, Roger. You wanted to say something else?
No, I mean, it's been known to happen, but it's not the norm. Sorry, that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ty, how about you? The goalkeeping position. And some people actually are still picking. And I have a poll. Let me see already. And 86 out of how many votes? I can't figure out the. That's probably one person at this point. Yep. Again, it's one to start. Why 86% thinks it will be Kepa and one Kepa to start. I think probably one person alone, if you ask me. But I think Kepa starts tomorrow. If he doesn't start, I'll be surprised if he starts. It simply means ready. But again, I don't think they just jump to starting in the game. I think it probably game and do quite well. Then he gets a chance to start either in the Premier League or in Europe. What do you think, Roger? Because they're not just going to just say, okay, I think he's ready now and throw him into the fold.
So the first part of your statement was lost due to the internet. Could you repeat just the first part, please?
I'm saying I don't think tomorrow we'll just see him without him having, again, without Mendy not having played any serious game, any competitive game under Potter. He'd probably start by playing a cup game.
Sure, I agree. Yes.
And again, and does well, and then maybe Potter will consider, okay, again, maybe you play in Europe, he plays in the Premier League. Your thoughts?
Yeah, injuries aside, I see us seeing Mendy play for the first time against, I believe, City.
In the cup game.
Yeah, in the League Cup. In a couple of weeks, before the World Cup. Mm-hmm. So that's, I believe, when injuries aside, I think that's when we'll see Mendy play first.
Yeah, and again,
that's a big game.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
and that's a big game. Us versus City. That's delicious.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed, and it will be a good test for him to see how ready he is, whether he's regained his confidence. Because I think his issue, you could say again, stems from his lack of confidence. If you ask me, that's how what I believe the problem is for him. But that's, by the way, again, let's say again here, most likely, again, here's the thing: if this is a hybrid approach, which means how do we, again, if we're saying that Ruben Loftus-Cheek, wow, this is really, it's not going to be easy to pick this lineup here. Let's see what we looked at before. I'm going to go back to the Wolves game because, like I said, I think majority of the guys that started in that game will most likely start the game tomorrow because a lot of them didn't play. But here, yeah. So again, even James is absent. Absence won't be an issue here. Yeah, I don't think James's absence will be an issue. But what I'm thinking, maybe Ruben Loftus-Cheek plays here, and then Kovacic starts alongside Jorginho. But we'll see. Let's continue with the lineup building exercise again. Just give me a second. I'll come back to this page. So to me here, I think it will be a Cesar that I also saw on the screen. What do you think, Roger?
Where? Oh, yeah, Aspie for sure.
Yeah, in the right back position.
Yeah, I believe that's yes. I think that's a strong assumption. Because Aspie came on in the AC Milan game in the 62nd minute. So
so he didn't start. So he's most likely to start this one.
Yes, exactly. And probably
didn't he start? Who started the AC Milan game?
James.
Well, that was James, of course. James.
Yeah. Okay. And he was 3 at the back assistant, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. So I think Aspie starts here. 2 names here. It's the same. Listen, I think we don't even need a poll for that one, honestly.
Yeah, I think. Well,
yeah,
it'd be funny
we don't.
If he starts Ruben there, we're wrong.
Yeah.
Or he plays Chalaba. He plays Chalaba.
No,
Chalaba starts centrally. Again, it's a hybrid approach, remember? He starts centrally, and I don't think Silva starts this game. But Ty, on the left for you, to me, I think it'd be Cucurella. Let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know if you think otherwise. I think it's Cucurella on the left. Ty, how about you? And then I'll go to Roja.
I want
in the left back position. That's going to be, you can say left back / left center back. Go ahead, Ty.
I want to see Cucurella playing, but I think it's still going to be Chilwell.
No, who started against Milan?
Wasn't it Chilwell?
It was Chilwell. So that's a giveaway that Cucurella starts this one, no matter the structure.
Well, I don't think you should change what is not broken. And
we're seeing rotation here, right? The game before the Milan game, that was Wolves, and who started there?
Don't do this to me.
No, I'm not. No, but we
don't get my hopes up. I think Shaw will still play, and then Cucurella comes off the bench. I don't think we're gonna change it. I think giving Cucurella the opportunity to come on was a task by Potter, so that Chilwell would actually get some time to rest on the bench. But I think he's still gonna play. I don't think Cucurella will start this game. I don't think he's not going to. I just said I don't think he's going to. I want to see Cucurella play, but I think Chilwell is still gonna play because I think he offers more that Cucurella does in terms of, you know, being in the opponent's box and things like that. I think Cucurella still needs to develop in terms of that part, but I think Chilwell's still going to be the one that starts.
Okay, Ty, let me say this again. I don't want you to develop convenient amnesia and say I didn't say this. I think I'm going to be doing this every show. I think Cucurella starts.
Yes.
Honestly.
But don't forget, Chilwell played 89 minutes in AC Milan.
So he practically, you can say he played 90 minutes.
Yes, I'm just being.
Let's not take the stars approach. He played like the price is 99.9 cents.
I'm just being pedantic here, yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly, I think Cucurella starts because we're sensing again. If anything, yes, it's we don't have it too much to work with when it comes to predicting what Graham Potter does. But I think we can sense a rotation here. It's clear, and in that area especially, I think Cucurella starts. But I get Ty's argument. Let's see what happens. Again, Roger, you go ahead. Can you tell us what you think and why you think it's who starts and why you think so?
I think it's because of the aforementioned, what I've stated. I think this is a very comparable approach that he took versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think he's going to basically cut and paste that. It's a template. I think because it worked very well. You know, if that game we used that formation and those players and it was a disaster, then we can safely assume that he wouldn't repeat it. But because we looked so solid, so good, yes, against shall we say, a less informed team, which is the case now with Villa, I think he will predominantly go to this alteration because you need depth. Because for the next 4 weeks or so, we're going to be inundated. Listen, we're going to be playing 3 games in the next 6 days, starting tomorrow. That should
so rotation is key.
Yes, this is how you get muscle injury if you don't rotate, regardless of your age. It's just we're not designed to play this many lengths of minutes in so small amount of time in this physicality and this league. It's impossible. You're going to get injured eventually if you don't rotate. It's simple as that. So I believe we're going to look at that template and we're going to follow it for the most part. There may be a slight deviation with a player or two, or maybe it would be a 4-3-2-1 or a 4-3-3, you know. But for the most part, I believe, based on what we've seen, listen, we don't have much to extrapolate. There isn't much of a sampling rate for us to go by with Potter, we're going to need probably half a season, to be honest with you, to really understand his philosophy and where he's heading. But based on the 5 games we have, I think it's a safe assumption, and there's no such thing really, especially when you're looking at a coach like Potter, that we have to go by this. I think that's a logical approach, as one can be logical in this matter.
Yeah. Again, it makes sense that Cucurella starts over Ventura. We don't want to overplay.
In essence, that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah, we don't want to overplay again. Chua, again, he gets injured and we're in serious trouble, and which is the same reason why, again, I argue Thiago Silva. I think he drops to the bench. He played again. Let's look at it again. He didn't play again at the last game, right? So let's look at this again. He didn't play, and the last game, the game before this one, before the Milan game, was this one. So that's a pattern now. Thiago Silva misses one game, starts the next one. So he played.
Coach, I can't hear you.
Last one, I think he hear me.
If you could repeat that, you were going in and out.
Yeah, I was saying there's a pattern to it now. Thiago Silva misses him, starts the next one. So again, he didn't play against Wolves, but he played against Milan. So he's going to play the next one. That thing. So for that position here, again, you can say he was starting to see that he wants to rotate essentially here. But Chalobah starts. He's still young. I think he'll still be fine. Essentially, again, I think Thiago Silva starts alongside Chalobah. That's what I think. Roger, I'm still with you. What do you think?
I totally agree. That back four, I believe, will mirror the Wolves game.
Yeah, I think he will. Yeah.
I see no sense in playing Silva.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I know if he's on the pitch, he would do better. But I think resting him makes a good sense that the games are coming in thick and fast. And again,
and Silva played 90+ minutes against AC Milan.
Yeah, exactly. So which means Potter, you could say Potter has, again, he has no intention of playing him in this particular game. Yeah, and that's what I think. Again, but that's, by the way, again, as I would say, Silva here. I would say, Silva in that position.
Coach, theoretically, he could play Silva and rest Koulibaly, and then rest Silva for the Brentford game 3 days later. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
That could happen, but I think, here Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly starts, not Silva.
Yes,
so to speak.
I'm just saying though that could take place. It could be Silva and Chalobah and rest Koulibaly, and then rest Silva for the Brentford game. But I don't think so. I think he's going to go with the same back four as Wolverhampton game.
Yeah, so I'm going to start the poll. I'd have to. Ty, how about you again for the CB's CB pairing? Let me ask the chat. For the CB pairing, a question mark again here. We
Koulibaly and just broken.
What? Koulibaly and who? I'm listening, Ty.
Koulibaly and just broken.
Just broken. I'm not sure. Again, I'm lost. I don't get the joke. Okay, Koulibaly again. One more option is Silva and Chalobah. What?
Broken.
Oh man, I'm lost. Maybe.
Sorry, I can't understand you, sir.
Yeah, I can't either. Yeah, I'm lost.
Josh Brooking has been training with the first team, so I'm saying Josh Brooking. He's at Chelsea. He's a young player. Chelsea youngster.
Sure.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, but it's saying like it sounds like you were making a sentence, not really talking about someone.
It came across like you were saying something is broken. Sorry. So
Yeah, exactly. Came
Josh
across as if
That's
he
his
was
name.
making a
That's his
sentence and not
name.
saying someone's name.
That's his name though. That's why. Josh
Yes.
Broken.
Sure, got it now. Got it. Yes.
Yeah,
he's
okay.
the
While
only
I
guy.
wait for that vote,
Koulibaly and Chalobah.
yeah, I think it's going to be Koulibaly and Chalobah. That makes sense.
Yes.
But let's see what the chat does. I don't think I listened that much for chat to the chat again. I'm going to try. Let's round us quickly so we can go watch the game. Chalobah, is it one? Is it one L, right? Yeah, I think it is. Chalobah and Ty. While I'm still with you again, the 2 6s. Let's just call it the 2 6s. I know most like again. Ty, who do you think starts there?
I think it's going to be Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, I think okay. Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek. To me, I still think.
I was wrong last time. That's exactly what I thought. If you remember on the previous, I think was it Wolves, I was predicting Kova and Ruben, and it was Jorginho. I was right on the formation. You were right on J5, if you recall. So
Yeah,
but J5 played how many minutes in? He played the entire game for AC Milan, but he's still fit enough, I believe.
I think this guy is way too important for Potter, for Graham Potter, no matter how we see it.
Yes.
I think the pairing under Potter will majority of the time be a combo of Jorginho and either Kovacic or Loftus-Cheek.
Yes.
So I still think Jorginho starts, but let's see. The pairing against Milan this guy still played it against Milan, right?
Yeah, they both did.
Let's look at the Milan game.
Milan, he came on in the 45th minute, 46th minute, I think. No, 62nd. Loftus-Cheek came in for Sterling on the 62nd minute. So
yeah, so this was the pairing. So I think whatever the pairing is, I think Jorginho stays as long as I think you could say he's fine, really. He's had 2 days to rest. I think Potter starts him too, and he doesn't play with too much energy as you being concerned he's getting injured. I think he's way too important.
Who are you referring to, sir?
I think it will be. A combo of since Kovacic played. How many minutes he played the whole game?
Yes, Kova played
against Milan, right?
Yes, sir.
All 90 minutes. So I think Jorginho starts because Jorginho plays with less energy. So of the 2 players, I think this guy will be more tired. Really, I'm serious.
Very astute.
Sorry,
astute observation, coach.
No, but
just joking.
No, but really, we're being factual here.
Yes,
really.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So to me, I think the combo there. Stop, please. I think the combo there will be Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho. Really.
Yeah, I think that's a strong.
That's what I think.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if Kova plays in there. There's 3. There's.
I wouldn't be surprised either. You could say he's had a few days to rest. So to me, I think it will be Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho at the position of picking placement again. That's what I think, though. But we're going to ask the chat because that one, the decision wasn't straightforward. And Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho. Okay, Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho again. There you go. Let me ask the chat to see the combo. So the combo of Koulibaly and Chalobah wins in the chat. Silva and Koulibaly 0 votes out of 4 votes, but I think it makes sense. It will be Koulibaly and Chalobah. So let me ask again about the central midfield area. Let me ask, start a poll. Gogo has added more options to the back end here. Central midfield area. I'm going to just say central midfielders. That's fine. So 2 possible combos here, but I think Jorginho, I'll add one. Let me start Jorginho and Kovacic. But again, but let's again the number 10 position. Roger, while I'm still with you, I believe Mason Mount is fine, but there's a chance something changes there. I'm seeing Mason Mount being rested and Kai Havertz starts in his position. Again, in the number 9 area, we'll get into that in a bit. But who do you think starts in the number 10 position, Roger? While I'm still with you.
Well, Mount only played 45 minutes.
Yeah, but even at that, you can say I think he needs a rest. Maybe because he was taken off early, maybe he still plays. But if something, the slightest, again, if something is really wrong with them, even the slightest beat, I don't think he'd risk of playing him in that game. But go ahead.
Well, if it's bless you, Coach, bless you.
Thank you.
If the number 10, if it isn't Mason Mount, then I believe it's going to be a combination of, it's going to be a choice of 2 other people. It's either going to be Kai, assuming that the number 11 is going to be Broja, or it's going to be, what's his name? I forgot his name. Gallagher, Connor. I can see Connor playing central also. I think Mount and Connor, I think they're cut from the same cloth. They're very interchangeable, shall we say, if that makes sense. Can you hear me, Coach? Hello?
Yeah, I went off a bit. So I'm saying in terms of industry, Connor is like for like with Mason Mount.
Yes.
I think to say in terms of creativity, Mason Mount is better off. So from that central area, I don't think it's a role I trust Gallagher to play. If he's fulfill that role, I haven't seen anything to convince me he's capable of doing that at this point. I think if Mason Mount isn't starting there, I think the most, again, 2 players that I think are capable of fulfilling that in the team include Loftus-Cheek and Kai Havertz. And I think Havertz will start in that position if Potter decides to rest Mason Mount. And in this case, I think actually there's a chance he rests Mount. Yes, he's done quite well of late, but if they're fearing that he has any sort of injury, I think it'd be a risk to play him. But go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, no, because doesn't he have a thigh injury or something?
Yeah, they're not sure whether it's a bruise or if it's something deeper. But they don't fear too much. Again, my point is, even at that, they'd be cautious.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
You know what? Actually, considering in 3 days' time we play Brentford, that's right. I would probably rest Mount. So yeah, I would say Kai starts in the number 10.
Yeah, I think Kai starts in the number 10 position.
You got Loftus already playing in the mid, so yes, why not?
So Ty, what do you think really
about what?
The number 10 position. Who do you think starts there?
Mason Mount is not starting. For me, at least, I don't think he's going to start. I think it's going to be Pulisic, Havertz, and Sterling. But not in that. It's going to be what I just said is from right to left.
I'm going to say this. I think Broja starts this one, but I'm going to use a poll.
I was going to say that, but I was going to wait until you got to that point. Yeah.
Again. I think Broja starts this one. Let's see what we have here again. Big up, Coach Panel and chat. Big up to you, Glenn. I hope you're doing well. And thanks so much for finding the time to join the show, brother. Roger is right. The amount of games before the World Cup will dictate the amount of rotation. Quite a lot of them. And that's how I see it. Again, Mount didn't train yesterday and is having a scan today. Soon, training again. So cannot see him starting unless he ends at sub-training today. Even if he trains today, I think, given the fact that there were suspicions that he may well be carrying an injury and didn't train, it wouldn't make any sort of sense to start him today. That's how I see it. So I don't see him starting today. So you could say only one vote, but I think most likely Jorginho and RS starts in the midfield area. So let's just go with that one. I'm not going to use any other votes here. So Ty, we can all agree. Ty, who do you say you think starts here? For me, I think Kai Havertz starts here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. If we say Havertz, yeah. Roger, what do you think?
Yeah. For which position? Number 9? Oh, for number 10, you talk about Havertz for sure.
Yeah, in the 10th position, yeah.
Yeah. I think if Mount doesn't play, then it's Havertz.
Yeah. So again, yeah, I think that's. I don't think Mount will play, but go ahead.
Yeah, and that's based on also looking ahead to the Brentford game 3 days later.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to rest him since he already had the second half. Rest him and get ready for 3 days later. I think that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, people, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So here's where, again, it gets a bit tricky. You can say we shouldn't even at this point be considering Ziyech, given what we're hearing. So, again, we have two players. No. You could say, again, like for like. Like for like, again, from the perspective of where you'd say, again, we see the best of them. Those players include, again, Ziyech. Not really Ziyech. Let's just the two players in question I want to talk about is, what's his name? Christian Pulisic and Raheem Sterling. I see them both starting in this game, but I know they're able, again, it's a fluid approach. Again, you can say, but who starts on the right and who starts on the left? I know Sterling starts, and I think Christian Pulisic most definitely will start this one, given that he didn't play against Milan. But he can maybe, yeah, I think Sterling will probably drop to the bench. He played and he looked tired, so I'm thinking maybe he gets a rest. He gets a rest and be ready for the next game. What do you think, Roger? But we can say Pulisic on the left here, certainly. I think Pulisic starts.
Yeah,
because he didn't play.
I have a strong suspicion based on two facts. One, Pulisic didn't play versus AC Milan. And 2, Sterling played horrendously. You put Sterling in.
Who?
You put Sterling. You typed Sterling there.
Oh, sorry, Pulisic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulisic is there again. Is the one that makes the most sense. I think he starts there. I was actually saying Pulisic and type.
No, I know. I got it.
Yeah. But go ahead.
The gods, they bleed, sir. And I think there's a strong possibility. I don't think it's. I truly believe that there's a strong possibility that you're going to see number 9 Connor. You know, I really think Connor will play.
Yeah, I think it starts. Like again, we will see predominantly the players that played against Wolves, because it only makes sense that they played well. Plus, again, you have to play again. You have two separate teams now. You can now rotate. Except sometimes I think there'll be the need to pick players from starting team from one of the two teams and drop them into the other team to fix stuff. But I think given that Pulisic didn't play, go ahead.
Yeah, don't forget, because of Connor came in on the second half. He played half a game basically, and against 10 men. Let's not forget, it was a lot easier, to play against 10 men than it is 11, exertion wise. I think he'll play anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes, and if he is substituted, Connor, it will be Mount for 10, 20 minutes, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be man management, as simple as that. So that's how I see this transpiring.
So you think Connor starts here?
Yeah, I believe there's a strong possibility.
Who else? Again, who fights for the spots with him? So we maybe we'll use a poll.
Yeah, let's have a look here.
I think it's but go ahead, Ty. Anybody that comes to mind that you think would make that could start here over Conor Gallagher?
I mean,
The only time I think maybe the decision would be difficult to make if it's again the starting structure is a 3 at the back structure, which means again that's a chance Ruben Loftus-Cheek plays up there. Even with this structure, there's a chance Ruben Loftus-Cheek plays here too.
Yes, that's a good possibility. Or Nkuku. I'm just kidding. I couldn't resist, coach.
Yeah, I totally understand. But Ty, anything you have to add to that? I think it's Conor Gallagher's place to take. But I'm just going to add the chart anyway. I'm going to ask the chat and see what they say. Okay, the number there. Let me see. Let me just use a number here. So that let me just number 8. That helps people that are watching to know what we're talking about. So if you want to participate in the poll, look at the number on the screen. So I called it number 8 position. Number 8. Just give me 1 second. Number 8 position. Who sits there? Okay, I'll say Gallagher. I'll just add Loftus-Cheek to that place. RLC maybe. I think RLC was standing deep in the midfield, not really that position. Let's Ziyech is still part of the squad, and we may well need him. I think even though we're hearing that he's been told of something, I'm not sure, and it's something to the effect of again he'd leave. He's been told he has to leave in January. I'm not sure that's the case. I'm just going to add him to the list. He's there. That's a chance. He gets a chance to play. So Ty, what do you think? The number 8 position there. Who do you think plays?
Broja.
On the right hand.
Yes.
And I didn't add him. I didn't add him to the poll. Sorry. Here's what I think. Really
unlikely.
No, it's unlikely because we only have 2 number 9s. Yeah, I did like 2. People who are used to playing the number 9 position. I know Havertz gets to play there, but in a fluid approach, not really where he's deployed as a traditional number 9. Go ahead, Roger. You were saying something.
Yeah, traditional number 9s.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you need to say. A traditional number 9, because Havertz has played there, but he's not a quote unquote a traditional number 9 historically.
Yeah, and really, Ziyech actually could perform magic in that position, but I don't see it happening. He's a player I like, and if I see him start, which means Potter has looked at him and believed, okay, you know what, he's ready to perform. But I doubt it will happen.
I would love to see him start in some regards. I'd like to see him rejuvenated, but
I like it. And Potter is capable of doing that, really.
Yes, he can turn him around. But from what I've seen with his body language the last few games, it doesn't look to be the case. But, I'd like to see Potter prove us wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see that too, really. Ty, your thoughts, what do you think happens in that position? Oh, you said Broja. I asked him already. He said Broja, right? So, and the chat thinks... Glenn is looking for I knew Glenn would say something. The chat thinks, again, it's Gallagher, and most likely Gallagher. Again, he's earned his place. Yep. When he let me see. Big up Glenn. Again, smash the like button, people. 42 likes. It doesn't look like we get it to a 50 today, actually. But I understand that it's a pattern now. Weekends when games are on, we don't have a lot of people here. Reece James info, nothing out yet. Ty, have you heard anything about Reece James? The planned subsequent scan or assessment to ascertain the severity of the injury. Anything else? Nothing. What do you say, Ty?
No information has been given.
Sorry, can you say that?
No information has been given, he said.
Oh, okay. So probably, nothing new. We wait.
Coach, I would really like the Premier League to institute similar, shall we say, rules and protocols that the NFL does, where the injury list for an NFL player is very detailed. It's
has to be public, right?
Yes, and I remember one coach, I can't remember which team it was, a few years ago when I was living there, got fined for something for not publishing their several players that were injured the week before. So the next week he listed like virtually his whole team, like, oh, this guy has a sprained thumb. He went overboard deliberately just to prove a point, you know, because it's supposed to be detailed, and it should be. It's like we have a right to know. It's like exactly which ligament, for instance, is strained for Reece James, if at all there is one, etc. But they don't come out. They just say it's a knee ligament. There's no specificity, you know, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you were the one saying that word. That's a word I struggle to say.
Yeah, it's not easy on the tongue. Especially without a cup of tea.
I'm sorry, I don't mean I don't mean to laugh at you, but that's a word I really do struggle to say. I'm glad. Yeah, you're the one saying it, not me. So enjoy, really. Again, I understand. That's by the way. Again, here, you have your answer. I hope that answered your question. I said Ziyech is done out there. Well, again, he's still under the club are still paying him, so I wouldn't say he's done. But that story that he has a throat issue, that was why he didn't travel with the club to Milan, sounds a bit fishy to me.
That was really weak.
Yeah, well, it sounds a bit fishy to me, but we'll see what happens. I don't think he's done. That's a good player in him. He's earning quite a lot of money, even though he's not the biggest earner at Chelsea. Still quite a lot of money. Ziyech doesn't seem as if he still wants to play for us. I think that's us jumping to that conclusion because we have you could say a preconceived notion about him because he hopped on a flight to Ajax trying to get a move. And I don't blame him then on the Thomas Tuchel. He wasn't seeing game time. And again, when he was at his best, he got dropped to the bench and all that. So, it's easy to jump to conclusions given boss, what happened, really.
Coach, you know what else we need to take into account? That they don't have an infinite amount of time as a professional. Like, I can work to my mid-60s. These chaps can't. You know, I understand their need to play because, first of all, they play because the love of the game, the beautiful game, you know. Let's be honest. You know, virtually, I would say in any sport, that when you practice and perfect your craft in any sport, it's done for the most part out of love 99% of the time. Like if you're a golfer, you don't practice 8 to 10 hours a day hitting a bucket of balls, etc., playing several rounds a day because you're thinking of making money. No, you do it because you love the sport. And you can say that across any sporting field. I really believe that. So I think he truly loves the game, and to the fact that he can't play past X amount of years, you know, that this limits his, you know, thirst for the game, and it's wrong because sadly they have a very limited, you know, span with which to be a professional. So he's how old is he? Let me get my glasses on. Ziyech. He's 29, so he's at the back end of his career falling.
Yeah, and this should be he should be when he should be at his best at this point, given the experience, the talent he has, peak. And everything. Yeah,
his peak, and for him to request to go somewhere else when you're not playing, I understand because he only has a few more years.
I would do the same if I found I found myself in a similar situation. I have to be honest.
Yeah, because you're sitting on the bench in the peak of your career. So anyone that doesn't want to do that, then they're doing it for other reasons. And that means that he really wants to play. I don't think it's so much an ego thing. I think it's the fact that you have a limited lifespan, a shelf span, so to speak. So that's why most players do want to move to a place where they can get more minutes. So I think,
he's not that player where you can say, again, it's about the money he's earning. Like you alluded to, he loves the game. He wants to play. Yeah, I know some passionate players, you know, wouldn't mind sitting on the bench as long as you're paying them.
Yeah,
but he's not that player.
But you know what? I don't think that's the case in quite a few the vast majority of sports on people that participate in sports, because, you know, with the exception of golf, where you can play even the senior tour, we're talking about physical sport. These players do it for the love of their respective sport. And you know what? I kind of like the fact that Ziyech has done that in some regard. I really think that we as fans need to appreciate and respect that they have a limited, you know, career time-wise. We shouldn't besmirch them because of this.
Yes, then I'm going to say this quickly again. Then we'll move on from here. Again, this structure right here, this 4-2-3-1. Again, even deploy him centrally or to the right, would see the best of him. But again, I think we shouldn't just keep players for the sake of it. We're paying them, so they have to perform. To me, I'd say, yeah, I get it. Again, even I have argued that. But if I'm being objective, seriously, I think his demeanor, or his, you could say, the way he carries himself as an individual, it's easy to jump to that conclusion that he doesn't want to be here. But yeah, has he been awful when he came on? Yeah. But do I think that's it for him? He still gets his chance. He's part of the squad. He's part of the team, and we're going to need him. Before paying him, he has to perform. But again, he's a good player overall, but let's see what happens. Ziyech, again, does seem as if it's still, it's easy to jump to that conclusion like we've talked about, because we have a preconceived notion, you could say idea, because he pushed to leave, which I don't blame him for. They can forward his wages to me. Broja is going to start tomorrow. We'll get to that, the number 9 position. Even, again, Cho has knee injury at Leverkusen.
Oh, no. How bad is it?
Wow. Can you elaborate? SWC, Thomas SW6, can you please elaborate a bit? Let's understand. Again, if you know about the severity, can you please tell us? I really want to know. That's a serious concern, right? Probably he comes home. If it's anything that will keep him, sidelined till January, he probably comes home. That's some bad news. Again, he's been doing well there. What's going on with our youth, man? Oh, no, was that why you're asking that question? So again, yeah, Cho, Livramento, Reece James, who else? Even Lamptey just returned, right? That's 4 of them. But did I miss anyone? Yeah, so good question right there. I'm not sure. Again, when I end a sentence with an emoji, it's often only sends the emoji. Okay, there you go, 29. I understand what you're saying. Okay, wow. Yeah, pray for Cho. Again, I'll pray for him too. He's a player I like. It's a knock for now, but we never know. He will get the scans, okay, to further assess the situation. So that makes sense. Lukaku and his voodoo tricks, man. I'm not going to blame you. I'm glad you're Belgian. So you're blaming your fellow countrymen for, again, what we're going through. Okay, that's by the way. Now I'm going to come back to the panel. Who went out? We had Ty, Roger, Eddie. Eddie went out. Probably a connection issue. So let me ask this again. The number 8 position, people in the chat thinks it's going to be Gallagher. But what I want to ask you is this: when do you think we'll see Chukwuemeka start? I know, again, I was hoping that he starts the game after we learned he scored, 2 goals. He scored a brace in a indoor friendly against Brighton, which, again, and I heard also he came off the bench to score those 2 goals.
Exactly.
The club spent nearly 20 million on his head. I don't think they brought him in for him to live on loan. I think Thomas Tuchel made that clear, and I think Potter knows that too. And I think Borley wants him to start because other clubs were promising him a place in the first team, and we did the same.
Do you think he has incentive that he really? Do you think he has incentive that he really wants to start against his old team? I think that's often the case.
That may well happen, but you could say in this case, you can say the factor unknown comes into play. We're So,
Yeah,
but go ahead.
exactly.
Your thoughts. When do you think he'd get the chance to start? Really? Do you think he starts?
To start,
But
and
like
then-
you were saying in this one,
yeah, we didn't. We kind of, how shall I put this? We kind of dismissed it offhand that we only would think about the traditional 2 or 3
that we
midfielders
know.
playing. Yeah, exactly.
You could say established names in the team.
Exactly, sir. And I think Chukwuemeka, you know, he could actually. I never really thought about it. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts tomorrow. I would love that, actually. You know, I would really like that a lot. I mean, as I said, when he played for the England youth team, under 19s or under 21s, whatever it was, I mean, he was a man playing amongst boys. He is a stud. He's got so much potential. He really does. So I look forward to seeing him more and more. He's only been given a few minutes this season, but in all likelihood, he'll probably come on in the 60th minute, something like that. I think that's a strong possibility. But when would he start? Who knows? I think he'll gently, bleed him in, so to speak.
Yeah, how gently is he going to be? Is it at the snail pace or turtle pace?
Yeah, no, you're checkmate. I get it. Yeah. I mean, you know how I feel about J5, but you would think that he would get more time based on the fact, because he possesses so much physicality. His footwork is so fast. Chukwuemeka, I'm talking about Chukwuemeka, obviously, not J5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, he's going to be a star. I really enjoy watching him play. He's got so much upside. But let's see. Potter's so predictably unpredictable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what a way to phrase it.
This whole screen I'm looking at can be completely wrong.
Yeah, again, like
formation and player, but I think this is a very strong possibility. What we're seeing on the screen will transpire. But, if one player is not even seen on that squad list tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised either. Who knows? Can you hear me, Coach? Or anyone?
He made a statement myself on the screen, so I fear my connection went. I heard everything you say.
Okay,
I mean,
sorry.
Some possibility he start, because usually managers like to play this against team they know. Against his old team, I think he'd be playing with a lot of confidence. Bobby, your thoughts again? When do you think we see Chukwuemeka start? Do you think this is the game? I know because again, by default, we cannot players, established players in the team. You can say he's not established. Gallagher slightly established, if I'm around, if anything slightly established, partially as established, maybe. I don't know how else to phrase it. Bobby, what do you think again? When do you think we'd see him start? Do you think this is the game, given that it's his old team, really?
Yeah, I mean, I believe I can see exactly what Graham Potter is doing with Chukwuemeka, and I think he's doing the right thing. By the way, somebody told me that Chukwuemeka is his first name and Carney is his surname, so we've got it all wrong. I don't know. I think he might have to come out and explain that one, because it'll certainly be easier to.
Doesn't that just quickly, Bobby? Sorry, I apologize. Doesn't that remind you of the situation of John Mikel Obi, Mikel John Obi? It's everywhere. But go ahead. It turns out Mikel, we left out his the real name, which is Nchebechukwu or something similar. But go ahead, Bobby, with what you were saying.
Well, this kid's 19 years old, and they're not going to rush him. They're not going to rush him unless he shows some exceptions. Then they'll play him. I would be surprised to see him play tomorrow against his old team. I really will. And why I say that is that there's a school of thought to think, why give him the pressure? I think he's been wrapped in cotton wool a little bit, and rightly so. However, there comes a time where you have to start to blood them in. Now, people might say playing him against Brentford is showing a bit of disrespect to Brentford. I don't think so. I think
No, I don't care what they think, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think Brentford will be high energy, and he's a young man, and that's probably the better game to start him in. Definitely, if we had a Carling Cup game that was weaker than Man City, I would have said start him there. But possibly Brentford, if he doesn't start, he'll certainly get some time, especially if we're not struggling. But he's not going to be rushed. I can't see a scenario where he's rushed. He's just come to the club. He's in the first team squad, which is a remarkable achievement for his age compared to the other 19-year-olds that are in the development team.
Exactly.
So I think he will stay there in the first team squad because the intention is to get him in the first team. He came on, I think, a little bit against, who was the last Premier League game we played? What was it? Who was our last Premier League game?
Wolves.
Wolves, yeah, he came on a little bit there. I think we will see him in a Premier League game a little bit. I think we're going to see him in one of the Champions League games as well. But tomorrow I'm not sure. He might play a bit part, but starting, it will be a big surprise if he does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is another good person to ask this question. Eddie, your thoughts, when do you think we'd see Chukwuemeka start a game? I think he came on against Wolves, which means, again, the next time we'll see him, he'd play even more minutes. But your thoughts, when do you think we'll see him start? Do you think tomorrow is a day, given the fact we're playing against his old team? Or do you think it's, like Bobby said, the next game, which would be a more, again, you could say, a pace-demanding game than this? And tomorrow.
Yeah, hi, Coach.
Sorry, pardon my bad manners. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing well, Coach. Hi to the panelists. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Roger. Hi, Ty.
Hello.
On Chukwuemeka, it's that kind of player that I won't be surprised if he came on, or if we don't have to see him. But he's a guy that is capable, like I said. He's very capable to play. But would they want to throw him in against his former club? I don't think so. So because of the emotions, will they be able to?
Usually we've seen managers pick player. You can see players can because of what's the quality. He's familiar with the team. Will be high and confident. Again, but go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, but being a young star, and he didn't leave on a bad time. Like, when players leave, when they didn't actually, maybe the club didn't want to sell them or something, that's when I think they want to prove a point. But I don't think he has any point to prove to his former club. And they're throwing him in when he's not started, If anything went wrong against his former club, it might knock his confidence. Like I said, if we remember when we played Fernando Torres, as big as he was then, as mature as he was then, he affected him against Liverpool. The very first game he joined was the game he played against Liverpool. So I don't see, I might be wrong, but I don't see him play. He might come on later on, but for him to start against his former club, if his confidence is knocked, it might affect his development. So I really don't think so. We might see him play in a different game. That's my own submission about that. But let's clarify the surname. Yes, his surname is Chukwuemeka because he's got a brother who is Caleb Chukwuemeka. So it's Chigozie Caleb Chukwuemeka. So their surname is Chukwuemeka.
So they're all going by the traditional first names.
Yeah, that's Chukwuemeka is their last name, yeah.
Okay.
Their last name, yeah.
So you don't think it starts tomorrow? How about Bobby suggesting that again the most suitable game for him to start would be the game against Brentford, because it's Brentford, they're known to play a high octane football. Do you think that's the game that suits him well?
No, I don't think so as well. I don't think Brentford game. Brentford is going to be a tough game as well. So I don't see him starting that one either. Brentford is a very tough place to go. I don't know. Are we home against Brentford again? Sorry. Are we home or away?
Let me check this. Away. Okay. I wasn't sure. Okay, away.
Are we away? Yeah. So Brentford is a tough place to go. So I really don't see that happen. And even that game is another game. Even it might affect the lineup for tomorrow. So the lineup for tomorrow, I mean, Aston Villa, there's pressure on them. They want to prove it, but they always do well against Chelsea, don't forget. So that midfield, I really don't think Jorginho will start this game. That's my own thinking. I don't think Jorginho will start because they're going to press him, and Jorginho doesn't play well when they press him. So Jorginho might not start this game.
Here's the thing. I think Jorginho, Eddie, if you don't mind quickly, I think Jorginho applies himself differently under Graham Potter. I think he's, again, Graham Potter, I think, let me give you one more game. I think that's the case. I think again, I'm not really concerned about how oppositions press him because he's not static. It's not like he's just lying deep and again dictating play. No, now he's more, again, a more, you could say, dynamic on the pitch, on the left, on the right, centrally, closer to the final third more often than usual. Again, because the application of our play is different on the ground Potter. But go ahead with what you're saying. I truly understand your point, and I'm sure Bobby will agree. No matter what I say here, he will agree with you.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Yeah. The only thing I want to say is that what we're saying is, I don't think he's applying anything different under Potter. The only thing is that the team generally are playing better under Potter. So that is now.
That may well be the case. Again, we'll see.
So they are playing, the team as a whole playing better under Potter. But this game is a game that I think Aston Villa, they're going to target Jorginho. They won't let him play. McGinn and all, they're going to be all over him, and they know he's the one that orchestrates for us. And Jorginho doesn't thrive well when they press him through, when they don't allow him to boss the game, if you allow me to use that word. You know, if they don't allow him to play the kind of game he wants to play. So when he's under pressure, we see him drift off. He doesn't really influence the game as much as he normally would do when they don't press him. So tomorrow, what about Zakaria? Does anybody think, when are we going to see him? I mean,
coming to the Zakaria case, correct me if I'm wrong, and I was going to ask you another question. Let me ask that one first, then we'll come back to the Zakaria argument. The question I want to ask you, really, where is Chukwuemeka's position? Is it, let's say, if we're talking about these three guys behind the single lone striker here, is this layer across all the three positions? So what, again, I want to understand, because we don't know too much. That's probably the reason we'll talk about him, show what position to place him on.
Chukwuemeka
because you seem to know him.
Sorry, you're going in and out there, Coach. Is it me?
Yeah. You seem to know him very well than most people.
Chukwuemeka is a player that plays. He can play as an 8 and as a 10. You know, so across the three, he can play as a 10 and he can play from the left side of the three. I mean, he's a versatile player. Chukwuemeka can play anywhere across the midfield, except for 6. I don't see him as a 6 anyway. But he can play anywhere across that midfield. He's so versatile, a player, you know. So that's the kind of player he is. You know, he can fit in anywhere. He's a very versatile player. So it depends on where the coach now wants to play him and what kind of formation they're playing and what the role he wants to be deployed on the day. So, but he's a versatile player.
Yeah, I understood. Again, you were saying something about Zakaria. Again, this is just I'm not sure I'm correct, but from what I've seen and from what I learned from Glenn, when Glenn made that statement, I had to go do my research. Again, his argument was that Graham Potter doesn't seem to fancy playing traditional 6s in that 2 areas here. And if anything, that's number one. You can say one of the reasons why, again, Zakaria isn't, again, that valuable for us at this point. If anything, again, the most Zakaria can do for us is a Kovacic role, which is hybrid of 6 and an 8. And I think, instead of him playing, we have other players who will fulfill that role better than him. We still have Loftus-Cheek there. Gallagher is actually capable of playing that role, though it's not his best position. I think Zakaria case is, again, he was bought because of his ability to fulfill the 6 role. And I don't think there's space there now. That's my argument. I could be wrong.
So does it mean we're not likely to see? Does it mean it's not going to feature for us
It's looking like it. But the fact he traveled with us to Milan, maybe he may well get a chance. Yeah, he traveled with the team to AC Milan, right? Didn't he? Let me look at it.
Yeah,
to
he
be sure.
was. Yeah, he was there. He was in the squad. Yeah, he made the squad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was he in again. Wasn't he on the bench too? Let's look at that game really again to be factual here. But again,
Yeah,
if anybody in the chat want to talk about it, again, up to you.
He was on the bench.
Yeah, so that's again that day I think we talked about it, saying that debunks the rumors again that he's surplus to requirement already. But then again, you have to respect him. He's there. He's part of the squad. We're paying him. There you go. Then there's Zakaria here. So there's still a chance he gets to play. But mainly, I think it's not going to be easy. Maybe cup game, maybe. Then we'll see him just because we need the numbers. But to me, I don't think he's really. I think he's really surplus to requirement indeed. Here we have again says the game tomorrow is a perfect game for Chukwuemeka to prove himself and gain some more game at time because Villa is a team we know very well and would again will give him a lot of confidence. Well, again, I'm not sure what to argue about that, but I'd always thought maybe because he's familiar with the team, he'd play them with again, we'd be high on confidence if he gets a chance to play against them. I think Chuku will get more involved next season, you think? Maybe, yeah. I also, again, have a bad feeling about the World Cup. Might be some injuries going up from such a climate to playing in cold, a drastic change in it, yeah. In the weather, I think that can be an issue. Rainy weather cannot be good. We'll see. Again, anything else? I don't think there's anything else to address here. Roger, you want to say anything regarding what? Again, anything else before we go into the final pick for the lineup?
No, let's go for number 9. Sorry, number 11. But it's a number 9 position.
Yeah, again, and to you again, who do you think that would be?
I think it's gonna. I doubt it's gonna be Aubameyang. I doubt it because he played. How many minutes did he play in AC Milan? Let's have a look. He played 80 minutes. 79 minutes is when Havertz came on. It's possible he could start. I personally think that this is a perfect game for Broja to start. I think he's played enough minutes where from what we've seen, he's earned the right. He looks hungry. He looks physical, clinical.
Can you guys hear me? We can't hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it's, well, to be honest with you, let's be honest. It's either going to be Broja, Aubameyang, or Kai in that position based on this formation. And since that we put Kai in the, number 10, I think it's going to be Broja. I hope it is anyway. I really do.
Yeah.
Me and Roger didn't have a meeting, I promised. But I completely agree.
Disclaimer.
Great minds think alike, Bobby.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just go ahead.
This is the game for Broja, really. It really is.
Yeah, I think it is. I think, but it's going to be difficult though. Aubameyang, again, he's on a goal scoring form, so that will make it even difficult. What do you guys think?
He's got the hot hand.
You mean to drop him?
Yeah, dropping him. I think it won't be easy, but this is, I think, Broja's start. But I'm saying it's difficult though to tell what Potter would do because Aubameyang, he's in a goal scoring form.
No, you understand why I said Broja before.
Go ahead, Ty. Can you explain?
Because you just because if we're gonna stick with the fact that against Wolves in attack when we were attacking was 3-4-3, or in this case I would probably say a 3-5-2 would be more possible if you have a Broja. That way, I know in terms of you can't play both number 9s, but still Broja is able to play wide, and so can Aubameyang. So either way they can alternate. So one goes central, one goes wide, and we've seen that, especially with Aubameyang when he's playing, that sometimes he'll come deep, he'll go wide, and then you'll have, if Havertz is playing, he goes central, or Pulisic, or even a Mount playing as a false nine. So that is why I was suggesting that. But I mean, it's difficult because you have Broja, who looks promising, and you have an Aubameyang who is in form, who has scored 3 goals in 5 games. It's not easy. Or is it 6 games?
Ty, let me explain this again. I get your point. I know Broja, he's good enough to play on the flanks, either left or right. He's explosive, good close control, pace, and intelligence to put in good crosses. But here's what I want to say. Now, him and Aubameyang are the only 2 traditional number 9s who have or recognized number 9. Kai isn't that. Kai also plays there, and even when Kai plays there, again, it's usually a fluid approach, which means he's not stationary there. I hope you get my point. So, but yeah, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure really. Again, I'm not sure he starts. Seriously.
Then Broja.
So I'm not sure. Again, Aubameyang starts, even though he's on a goal-scoring form. As much as I think it's going to be a difficult situation, you could say decision to leave him out. I'm not sure he's going to start. I think Broja starts. But go ahead, Ty.
That's gonna affect chemistry and consistency. It's gonna become an issue because we've done it so many times. We played Aubameyang, then we dropped him, and then we played Aubameyang. And so it's going to become a pattern where he plays, scores a goal, drop him, scores, drop him. I don't know. This is the issue that you have because, like I said, Broja looks promising. He scored his first goal for the club against Wolves. It's going to be complicated, and Aubameyang is in goal scoring form as well. And technically, based on the fact that Broja didn't play against Milan, he's still in goal scoring form. So
which means again, Aubameyang rest. That's again, you could say the logic would say Aubameyang rest and Broja starts, but it's difficult. We're just going to use a vote. To me, if you ask me to pick up Big Broja again, but Ty, go ahead if you're true. I want to get Roger's thoughts on this one.
Yeah, you can go to Roger.
Yeah, go ahead, Roger. What do you think happens?
I mean, I can see him starting Pierre-Emerick. I really can. But conversely, I can see him starting Broja. The reason why I can see him starting Pierre-Emerick is for the fact that, guess what? He really is in form. And as we all know, this position is about form. You know, it's when a player is hot, you know, assuming that, you know, physicality and the amount of games and the amount of minutes within the duration of a span of time. Look, 3 days' time, we're playing Brentford away, you know, on the 19th. So we have, and then you look at another 3 days later, we play Man United at home. So I think it could be a possibility that we actually would be starting one of them for, like, let's say either him, Kai, or Broja for 60 to 70 minutes, and then having a rotation with a quote unquote substitute who will then start the next game and so forth, or 2 out of 3, if that makes sense. Because you can't start 3 consecutive games in a row and play for 90 minutes in that span of time. So it all depends on who Potter believes is physically up to it and who is on form. It's as simple as that. You know, it's not that complicated. And obviously you have to take into the age of the player. Yeah.
You think really it's not? I think it is. Aubameyang's goal scoring form makes the whole thing, again, it complicates the whole situation.
No, sure.
That's how I see it.
I get what you're saying. I'm talking about from Potter's perspective, I think. Yes, I see what you're saying, Coach. But I'm saying from Potter's perspective, he's got to determine, you know, based on the age and the amount of minutes each. Man management is what it boils down to. And so it's up to him who he believes should play consecutively. And if they play consecutively, when I say play, I'm talking about start, then how many minutes do they play in each game? So you can start 3 games in a row at that position, but if you're limiting them to 60 minutes a game, then that's the same thing, you know. So it's that then man management comes into play, as I said. So and that's determined by Potter, what he sees on the training pitch, on the training field, and also how clinical they are. So that's it. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Pierre-Emerick starts. I really wouldn't. But I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if it does, but I think Broja start. Even I don't know. It's a really difficult to tell. What do you think, Eddie? What do you think happens? Who do you think starts in that position?
That's one position that I agree with everyone that's spoken, because it's Aubameyang starts. We're okay with it. Broja starts. I think we'll be okay with it as well. So we don't know what the manager might be looking at, depending on what is looking going forward. But if we want to say go by what we think could happen, I say he might want to continue the confidence, giving Aubameyang that scoring confidence, and then maybe
you don't want to break it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you look at the young lad, came on against Wolves and he did very well. And if that's the only, the substitution there is just.
Hello?
Yeah, I think we lost him, but I think
wait till the next game against.
Sorry, so was that me?
You hear me there? Hello?
No. It was Eddie. Eddie was speaking. Yeah, we can hear you, Eddie. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it might be. So we don't know which either of them plays well. I think we'll be okay, but I think deeply, Broja might start this one.
He's due to start, isn't he?
He's due to start, yeah. Broja might start this one, yeah. I'll be surprised if it.
Question is when. That's the only question.
That's the question, when, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are confusing me. He's due to start, and
Bobby,
I'm thinking maybe Roger thinks he should start this one. Go ahead, Roger.
Bobby, I would like to know who does Bobby think starts?
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Bobby. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, as we're all doing, I can only say exactly what I'll do. Yes, Aubameyang is in form, but the game turnaround is so much that him coming off the bench if needed in this particular game, I think, is the wisest thing to do. Whatever happens, Potter must rotate. If not, we already have one injury. He will risk further injury. And playing Aubameyang at such a sharp turnaround simply because he's on form is what we did to people like Kante and overplayed them. And then they get injured. He is not the youngest. And I think I would leave him on the bench. I would play Broja, who is due a start, give him the opportunity. It's not that, this is not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, but he's earned that right. And there's Tuesday for Aubameyang to get back to starting the game. If Broja does well in this game, he may well continue on Tuesday, and it gives the opportunity for them to split the game time on that day. Because after that, we've got bigger games. We've got people like Man United. We've got Salzburg again. So I think this is one that really I would expect Potter to allow Broja to start. There's no sense playing Aubameyang again. Or he may. I mean, he's the manager. He may think differently, but I just think it's an unnecessary overplay when we've still got a talent that can do so much damage to Villa.
Yeah, I agree with you. People in the chat, again, 5 votes, 100% thinks Aubameyang starts. And we have, again, how many people on the panel? Even Eddie thinks Aubameyang starts. Ty thinks Broja will start, but not in the number 9 area, I think so. So, yeah, but Bobby makes perfect sense. Again, I think being sentimental about Broja not getting the sense because he's equally on form. He came on and scored a beautiful goal. A well-taken goal. So I think he deserves a start. And like you guys agree, I think he's due for a start. But I'm going to go with what does. Again, that's 6 votes now, 17% Broja. I'm just going to give it a bit of time to see if that changes. If it doesn't change, I will plug in, whoever the chat chooses there. But in my own personal lineup, I think I would choose, again, I think Broja starts. That's what I think. Just to round off, Eddie, let me start with you. What type of game do you expect? We're not going to ask, again, we talk about scores during the pregame show, but now what type of game do you expect, really? Not Eddie Rogers, so to speak. I know Eddie is out.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I expect us to control the game for all intents and purposes, regardless of the fact that we're playing away. I see us progressing with what Potter's philosophy has been, even though it is a very fast turnaround each game. Last week and then this week, but I think he'll be able to build on experience from these players, playing together in his philosophy, being more direct and faster in essence. I expect us to control the game. I think meaning Aston Villa, will look to be on the break, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a 65+% to 70% plus possession, hopefully. But then again, Potter isn't really defined by possession ball like Tuchel was. But I can see us having the majority of the ball. I think because they're out of form. Let's be honest right now. Not to diminish them in any way, but realistically, Villa haven't been playing up to their potential. Where are they in the table? I haven't looked. I apologize, but not that it really matters. Not that that's really relevant, but I can see us. I think worst case we get a draw here. Best case we get a win. I'm hoping for a clean sheet. This is the one, you know me. I'm looking for more defensive progression. I would like us to improve defensively, to take the ethos of the 1970s and 80s Arsenal, that the theory that if you don't concede, you don't lose. So I like to think that we can take that mentality to a certain level. Not to be too defensive minded, obviously, because we have so much talent going forward. But I believe you can gauge the team's progress by how well we do defensively also, because don't forget, it's easier to build a defense, to actually create a defensive chemistry and knowledge base, to actually build that on the training ground than it is to actually be more clinical going forward. So if you take that philosophy, that the longer that Potter works with the team, hopefully we can establish more of a defensive stronghold. That's my logic here. So we can gauge our progression by how well we do defensively.
Yeah, Bobby, I know you know the club's history quite well, probably well acquainted. The past encounters with the two clubs. What type of game do you expect?
Villa they try to press. Their midfield is quite combative with McGinn and co. And that's where I think we need to be careful, because if he puts our dear friend Georgie in there again, McGinn has always bullied Georgie. And that is the one weakness we have. They will try and press. I think it will work against them, as it did last season. But, and of course, they've got these injuries, which I don't think helps them. But, they have a pacey team on the wings, and they have a combative team in the middle, and they have some dangerous strikers. So we need to be quite careful of these. Well, not quite, very careful. As with everything, the battle is always won in midfield. If we get our midfield right, we're winning tomorrow. If we don't, it could be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, we really do have to win that one. Leandro says, why would you take out a striker on form over has had plenty of rest in the last month. Yeah, but again, considering his age and he's played 2 days ago, and we're rotating. We don't want a situation why, I don't know how else to phrase it. Again, we get Broja and him out, then again, we're in serious trouble. It's possible that if Allback does not start, Kai just starts up front. I don't think so. I think Broja, like you've heard everybody on the panel say, is due for a start. There's a guy that, again, a back flick when he scores, it looked like. But again, Glenn, you sure do know exactly what you're talking about right there. I don't know if that's you can say a metric to measure whether he's fit or whether he's well rested. Again, Broja can also do the job. Why not give him a chance? Again, why not rotate? Yeah, there's a chance. Aubameyang, whenever he gets to start, scores. Broja, whenever he gets to start, scores. So if they're both in a goal scoring form, what do? We still rotate them. So I'd say, for me, again, I'd say start Broja. Again, let Aubameyang start the next one. There are lots of games coming, but it's going to be really difficult. If it were up to me, I'd start Aubameyang. I'd start Broja, so to speak. Glenn, I agree. An injury waiting to happen. Again, let's see what else happens here. He said, Leon, I could actually hate to watch. The other time, again, he did that. I think he sat on the floor. On the carpet after doing it. To me, yeah, I dread watching it. It's scary sometimes. It can be always, again, the fear they land the wrong way. Yeah, I hate seeing that, but I get your argument. Personally, I think the Brentford game... Sorry?
Who's our player in the midfield?
Playing where?
On the left.
When you say midfield, name the person.
I don't know who that is. I'm wondering if we signed.
What name? Is it? You seen a strange name there?
Yes. There's an L name there.
You're talking about the 2 6s?
Yes. The one on the left.
Loftus-Cheek.
Oh.
Shut up. I just shut the heck up. You say you've joined those that like to shame me publicly. You couldn't even message me privately and say correct this. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm in trouble here.
What are friends for?
I'm gonna get my revenge. I'm not gonna say anything. Oh, personally, I think the Brentford game would be the best for Broja to start. And Ty makes it worse because he likes to speak in parables. Ziyech should start as well. Again, if he starts somewhere, I'd be surprised, but I don't think it's going to happen. Big up, my guys. Big up to you, to Almighty Blues FC, my brother. Ankit, again, how are you doing, bro? Well, if you haven't, go check out 2 channels, 2 fast games. They're growing really fast, and I think you should go check it out, and you will not rate it. Again, I heard about Trippier. Shocked, yeah, RIB. Again, I didn't know I was going to still. That bro had a tie to, again, it was fucking what happened, really. Yeah, but I have nothing else to say. Then again, may have so rest and profit. As much as I'd like Broja to start, finally, we have a number 9 scoring. So continue for the first hour, in my opinion. Yeah, you can say Aubameyang starts and again be taken off. But you're in a situation, again, if he starts, again, he hasn't scored and you take him off. I think that's a risk. Again, I don't know how else to explain myself saying that. Loftus-Cheek has become tough. Yep, that's the truth. Again, that's, by the way, Roger, I don't know. I've asked you what type of game you expect. Ty, how about you? What type of game do you expect? And let's call it a day. I think, yep, people think Aubameyang has start, and I'm going to go with the people's choice. But for my personal lineup, I'm really going to go with Broja here. But go ahead, Ty.
I'm choosing to say that it will be a game full with a lot of pressing from Aston Villa. I mean, Steven Gerrard said it, that they're not happy with their performances of late, so they're going to want to come with a response. But I mean, the last time somebody said they're going to come with something, they ended up getting a red card very early, so I don't know about that. But I mean, the game will be intense. If you go with that formation, then I'll say there'll be a lot of quick moving off the ball and trying to be as fluid as possible, trying to keep Aston Villa from holding on to the ball for too long. And it's important that we do that. You know, the long. I mean, this old saying that I think I haven't heard in a long time, and it's the best way to defend is by attacking. So, I mean, if we can do that, then we will be perfectly fine. But obviously, they will have to get the ball at some point. But I think we just have to try as best as possible to minimize how much opportunities they get to keep hold of the ball and try to score as early as possible and try to, you know, have a comfortable lead and, you know, not let the intensity drop. Try to hold on to adrenaline. I can't even speak. No, I'm not going to say that word. You know, just try to hold on to that momentum that you have, and then after that, we try to see out the game. It's important that we try to keep as much momentum and high mentality as possible as we go into this, you know, tough part of the season in terms of, you know, games coming quick and fast. So it's important that we do this. And, you know, let's find a way to shut up Steven Gerrard. And, you know, you never know, probably put the final nail in the coffin and probably see him be dismissed.
And I have to say this, no matter how we see it, I still think that his comment is an attempt on mind game. That's how I see it. But it's one that's funny, really, trying to put more pressure on Porter and also at the same time trying to see if it can trigger the charity FC factor. That's how I see it again. And that's my, you could say, theory. Broja this, Broja that. Play me. Who gives me, again, the best a chance to win? Again, I get your argument there. Limitless, I hope you're doing well, bro. Thanks so much for finding the time to join. And Luis Garcia says, use Ziyech like David Silva in Manchester City.
He's not physical enough. He's too reliant on his left foot. He's not.
Yeah, he's too single-footed to be able to fulfill the David Silva.
As I said before,
good catch there.
As I said before, he's a poor man's Mahrez. You know.
I really don't want to go there.
Call him the wish. I call him the wish Mahrez.
Yeah, or wannabe. I love Mahrez.
I think he's a fine player. Again, we'll move on from him. Again, that's by the way. Let's see what we have again. Broja, this again. I've read that one, and this one here says again. Have you watched the Lobster Chick on the side? He scored a lot of goals. Again, it is because he played a different role. He played closer to the final third. And I really, again, want to see that. I want to see him play closer to the final third. I've argued. I know Roger enjoyed seeing him in one of the 266 throws. Doing well. Just time for bedtime. Again, go enjoy your sleep, brother. I hope to see you next time when you get time to join the show. I call him a NASCAR because he keeps making. Oh man, left tons. Great stream here. Thank you very much again. For watching, even when you're not commenting. I know most of us are watching. Again, I think with that, we've come to the end of the show. Again, thank you so much for finding the time to join. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Ty. And again, thank you, Roger. Thank you to Eddie for Love for Blue, who was here also. I appreciate you finding time to join the show. Thanks to Limitless. Thanks to Glenn. Thank you so much. Thank you, Luis Garcia. Thank you, my brother Ankit, for finding time to join the show. Liam Lane, the queen of the house, as we all was here. I want to say thank you to all of you. I cannot thank you enough. Again, I think it's been a brilliant show. Our approach to building the lineup involves analysis, and that's why it's enjoyable. Again, I hope we'll see how correct we'll be tomorrow. I think we'll get, a majority of our selection correct, but we're not sure. We don't know too much about Porter to correctly at any time or come close to being, again, correct at predicting this lineup. With that, I say thank you. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.